What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? I'm the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
Welcome to the first episode. That's right, it's Wrestling on the Rocks, episode 1, where every episode is episode 1, because we can't get it right. We refuse to. We started at the bottom, yet there we remain. Guys, I am Marsh. You can find me at RefMarsh, at MarshRef, at Twitter and IG, respectively. We have a full crowd tonight. Everyone is so amped about Wednesday Night Wrestling that they all wanted to come have a drink with me and yell about it. So let's go through the lineup. As always, staple of the show, Clumpy Foundation, as I like to say. Clump? Who the hell is
Clumpy Foundation sounds like something that you would claim as a reason for significant reduction in cost of a house you're buying.
Yeah, it would be.
It's got a real Clumpy Foundation. I'm gonna need you to take about 30% off of that.
Yeah, we can cut you a deal. It's got Clumpy Foundation.
Yeah. Or makeup issues, Clumpy Foundation.
That's a good point. Oh, yeah, bad makeup. Clump, who are you, what's up, man?
You need to talk better than I do, because I'm the one that's gimmick infringement one. Next you're going to start wearing fake watches.
Door Chop's already in the chat. Like I said, everyone wants to come have a drink with the Drinking Buddies. You can find us at twitch.tv/Wrestling on the Rocks if you want to come derail the show. People who wanted to come derail the show, specifically, Amanda, tell people you're back.
I'm back again. Hi, guys. It's Ms. Amanda Jean. Glad to be here.
Awesome.
Wednesday.
And don't call it a comeback.
Uh-oh.
Because he never left. But straight from the chat to your front room. I didn't plan out ahead of time of how I would say that. It didn't work. We got back in the... Oh, my God. It's Grim Reaper!
Hey! Well, you know me, everybody. I am ready, willing, and Gable.
Yeah, he is. He's Olympic.
You better believe it. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Round 2. Let's do it. I'm sorry. This is the first show, right?
This is the first episode.
Okay, first episode. Okay, good.
Which is really good, because that means you've been on 2 episode 1 so far, and that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
First one was on accident. This one, we'll see if it feels like an accident.
First one was internet and sandwich making outages.
Yeah. My internet's out. Plus I'm going to run to the store. BRB.
Where did you get Subway? Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I always have it. Guys, let's start off with the drinks. Guys, what's in your glass?
Coffee. Just coffee.
Clump's just got regular coffee. Is it like melted ice cream? How creamy is it?
No, it's black. I'm out of cream and milk.
You did it.
Yeah, it's bitter, like many of the times on the show.
Good. That's how you'll learn. Amanda, what are you drinking?
Today's Sonic drink is we're doing with a holiday theme. I have cranberry, and I have put a little bit of Stoli vanilla in here. So happy holidays to you.
I like that Sonic has been your thing. Like, I push for sponsorships every episode. I'm like, sponsored, not sponsored, please. Like, Woodford Reserve, give us a sponsorship. But you and Clump both are so like, don't give a fuck. Starbucks and Sonic. If I don't have my Starbucks or my Sonic, the show's not happening.
Actually, I probably could get Stoli to sponsor the podcast and show.
Well, I would drink it.
Yeah, they did that for me a couple years ago. It's my old crafting little website, because I would do crafting Fridays with Stoli. Cool. And so it was really cool. So one Christmas I got a case of 24 different bottles of Stoli.
Can you ask them
a hell of a month?
Oh yeah. If you get them to sponsor us, can you ask them to provide me with coffee? Just this is something you totally don't do, but can you just buy him coffee?
Can you buy
There's like
him
a
coffee,
case-
please? Thanks.
A case of
Yeah.
24 bottles and a Starbucks gift card is in it. Like, hey,
Yeah.
Or an Adidas tracksuit because
Oh, that would be awesome.
yeah,
That-
that'd
yeah.
be good.
Tracksuits
24
are awesome.
bottles of Stolies does sound like a nice trip to Christmas. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
24 days.
Oh, yeah.
Grim Reaper, what are you drinking? What's in your glass?
You know what? I am drinking a nice ale, a holiday ale, if you will, a little sweetness to it. It's called Santa, I Know Him, quote from Elf. So, you know, it's good stuff. Just watched that yesterday, actually.
nice.
But yeah, nice holiday beer.
Who makes Elf beer?
It's the Evil Genius Beer Company. It's down
All right.
by me in Philadelphia.
Very cool. Very cool.
Very cool.
I could actually see a moment where like Amanda's like, look, I really want to be on the show, but Sonic is closed by me and it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I am mobile today, so I mean, I could. You again? What the hell? I'm like, I know.
Yeah. But I do like the idea of Elf style beer. Is it an IPA? You said it's just regular ale?
Just a wheat ale. So
Wheat? Very good. Very nice.
very.
Those are good to have. Like, because you'd mentioned only having a couple. That's probably why. Those are nice and heavy, so they're really relaxing. I'm having Woodford Reserve Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey.
Mm.
Just on the
Good
ice.
stuff.
The old on the rocks. Whoa. I did not make a mess.
Good stuff.
No reason to look over here, producer. No mess made.
Good thing you're surrounded by napkins.
You'd think I'd have hit one. I did not. Oh. Guys, I'm glad you guys came around to have a drink with us.
Oh, buddy.
Oh,
Not
gee.
you. Mute them. How do you mute them individually? I'm just kidding.
But hey,
Oh.
you only abuse one of us. You have to like him. Quit
I was like-
taking the next.
Clump like stands in front of Grim Reaper. Not today. You abuse me. All right. Let's knock out some of the good news first. There was some good news this week. NXT brought in some new people to include Alex Zane. Clump, haven't you been telling me about him? I thought you mentioned him. I thought that's why
Not
he
even
sounded
a
so familiar to me.
Clue. Not even faintly familiar.
Why do I know who
Well-
Alex Zane is? Amanda, why do I know
Oh,
Alex
that's
Zane?
great.
GCW possibly.
Okay.
He's done a couple things with New Japan. I mean, his last independent wrestling thing will be him versus Blake Christian for New Japan. So he did ROH a couple times.
Is he the one who went back and forth with Cornette?
No.
Because there was that one GCW sequence that was like just Corey, where it went viral because people said, "Is this dancing or is this wrestling?" Because it was a whole bunch of like.
He was one of the wrestlers in that, yeah. But I don't
Yeah.
think it was him that was going back and forth with it. But he's the one who, when he gets announced in the ring, he weighs like I don't know how many Taco Supremes and whatever because he loves Taco Bell. So yeah, I don't know, but he's great. Like of the flippy dippy dudes, he's pretty amazing and he's pretty versatile. So they scored big with these guys they brought in.
That's cool. Yeah, I like the whole crew looked really good. Graham, are you familiar with Alex Zane at all?
No.
No. Yeah. Well, we're all excited to see what he
Wait.
does there.
Yeah, but definitely check out. There's a couple of his New Japan ones were really, really good, but I think the one that Cornette was talking about possibly could have been. I think it was from LA.
I think it was.
A GCW from LA. First time they were at what they call the White Claw Cultural Center.
Mm.
I think so. That was probably like November. No, what's that? Oh, I
That's
can't
really interesting,
remember.
though.
I know it was
Because I
about a year
remember
and a
that
half ago.
sparked a huge argument and conversation on Twitter about what does wrestling look like and what should it look like? Is it combat? Is it dance? Is it video game moves? Like, and I remember just thinking like for a couple days like it's pretty cool that these dudes did like a 2-minute thing that got a huge conversation going with a lot of fans. And I think that also it made a lot of fans look in a weird way, look like internally of what is it do I actually really like in wrestling and what is it that I really enjoy, and then kind of helps you figure that out, like if you're watching stuff and you can't figure out why you don't like it, having those conversations is awesome for that. Because then you can like figure out what it is you do like and really lean into it and go for it. That's how I felt.
And it's also, I think, it put different eyes on GCW, where people kind of assume that GCW is, all deathmatch and light tubes and that kind of crap.
Good call.
That they have that kind of wrestling, and so it opens up a whole can of worms for new fans to see
That makes sense.
what their product is.
Hey, Clump, I don't know if you heard about this. NJPW Super J Cup, they announced that Leo Rush is going to be in it.
I did see that.
Oh.
Who's Leo Rush?
Yeah, does he go by something else now?
No,
Who's Leo Rush?
From the Almighty Man of the Hour.
Wait, that was real? I thought you just made that shit up. Oh no.
My man.
Oh no.
My man Clump.
So I immediately don't like this person if that's their gimmick. But okay, cool.
That's them,
Good
dude.
on them.
That's them.
Good on them. Whoever they
I'm
may
the
be.
man of the hour because my balls is sour.
Lionel Green.
Lionel Green, he goes by now.
Oh,
Green
Lionel Green.
like
That's awesome.
money. Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, he's had like 2 farewell matches since he was let go, so I don't know how to feel about his farewell tour. It feels a lot like Cher.
no, he decided he's not retiring.
He just decided never
That's
mind.
where that. Yeah, he said never mind. He was having too much fun again. I think it was like with ACH where he fell back in love with wrestling again because
Oh, that's cool.
the man soured him. So
Yeah, well, I think losing your job will do that. But I do really like him in the ring, so that's probably a really good spot for him, right? The J Cup?
His
Oh, yeah,
acronym is
absolutely.
The Lionel Rush, but he still knows his name, Leo Rush.
Maybe he just spells it different. So I think it's called
24-year-old
confusing market.
piece of gold.
Yeah, 24-year-old piece of gold.
The watch.
That's a good point. It's a good point. Clump, did you really not? Are you not excited about him in the J Cup?
I mean, he's cool. I haven't watched too much like NJPW.
All right, well.
I don't know who else
fuck
is
it.
in the Super J
Fuck me
Cup,
then,
so I'm
man.
like,
No, forget it.
I appreciate you trying to bring me in always, and you have to understand my job is to disappoint you.
I thought you were going to dig that one. Let's see. Oh, the Dorkshot brings up a cool little point. Chris Bay from Impact. Don't know who that is, full disclosure.
Damn it.
He's like their fucking world champ right now. Is also going to be in the Super J Cup. Cool for NJPW to work with other companies / talent. So Chris Bay is going to be in the J Cup too. Chris Bay versus Leo Rush could be dope.
yeah,
TJP's in it.
TJP is going to be there.
Duh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The J Cup's looking a lot like the Cruiserweight Classic, and I'm digging it.
I don't
Yeah.
watch it back.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Dorchop says he doesn't watch Impact, but that asshole's watching Impact this week. I'll tell you that right now. We'll get to that. Shill.
It's interesting the J Cup people though. It's kind of interesting who's there. Honestly, like.
They're not
They-
NJPW people.
Well, that too, yeah, that too. But I think the only NJPW person, obviously, El Phantasmo's defending the cup or whatever. I don't even think it was a cup, but yeah, he's defending, and I think he's the only one. Or there's a lion in it, a young lion. I don't
Yeah.
know.
All right.
I
Chris
think Clark
Mizuguchi
Connors
isn't in it. I mean,
Well, because they can't
Dragon
travel.
Leaf.
So
yeah,
But-
fair.
yeah, and a lot of those guys, like Taguchi and all them, aren't they doing BOSJ? Because there's no Gaijin in BOSJ.
Fair.
So, I mean, this is, I guess, the thing. But there's a lot of people that I think that they eliminated that could be in it.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
I don't know. Someone who has dead friends. I don't know.
Well, it sounds like maybe it's going to be one to watch this year.
It should be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything you want to say about any of that, Grim?
No, I'm just like, I'm more of the WWE, NXT, little AEW, but when it comes to other promotions, the independent scene and all that, I know some things, but I'm trying to expand the library, if you will, to get into that. So this is all good talk for me just to soak in.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Dork Chop is a really good one too. He'll actually, if you ask him nicely, he's got a server where he puts on watch-alongs all the time, where he'll just like put on a badass wrestling program and just check it out. So that's how I actually got to see a bunch of the Wrestle Kingdom. I think 14 he put on a couple weeks back.
Very cool.
Because I wasn't very familiar with a lot of the NJPW stuff either, and I was like, Chop, help. And he was all like, this is all you need to know. He took me under his wing.
I will
Clump's
teach you
also a really good one. Yeah, I'll teach you to hate.
Fuck off.
Clump's a good one. He can tell you just matches to go find. He's not going to find them for you, though. Dorkchop will find them for you. That's why I like him. I like to be served up that way. Same reason I like audiobooks. If you're going to have the gall to write a book, you better read it to me out loud.
I have dyslexia. That is a bad idea.
Don't write a book, then. Because if you write it, you're going to have to read it to me, because I'm not reading it otherwise. All right, guys. Let's talk about the elephant in the room as far as news is concerned. Pat Patterson passed away, like, what, Tuesday night? No, Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
I remember getting first thing in the morning. I woke up. I'm groggy. I'm looking at my phone as I walk over to my workstation, which is literally on set. And I see it, and I just go, what? That was... It's crazy to think, too, because he was, what, 79?
79.
Yeah,
79. And so you think about those ages, and I guess realistically, people aren't surprised at that age when those things happen, but I think it still can hit you with the same level of surprise as anyone else. Like, it just seems like...
Yeah.
It sucked, dude, but it seemed like out of nowhere. And I'm even thinking about it, too, because, like, you see that, the 79, and you go, man... So many of these guys and these heroes that we have all go like 62, 63. And he got almost to 80. And then you think of the people in your own life who are that age or more. I thought it was awesome in the Triple H media call today, which we'll talk about a little bit in a moment. He even mentioned he wanted to start off the call talking about it. And he said he couldn't think of anyone perhaps outside of Vince McMahon himself who's done more for the business than Pat Patterson.
Wow.
And when you think about it on that level, you just go, fuck yeah. Even all the pictures they were showing at the beginning of NXT, those little video package they had of him singing, and my timeline was blown up with Pat Patterson singing. And it was the coolest thing. Everyone seemed to have, anybody who's like ever been outside with him apparently has a video of him singing. Like, you couldn't not have this guy singing. It was incredible. But it was a bit much, man. I mean, he created, and it sounds like this is like the least of his accomplishments, is he created the Royal Rumble. That's easily my favorite pay-per-view. We saw him when we were at Royal Rumble 2019. We were drinking in a bar, and he was like right down the road, and I was so nervous I didn't want to go up and talk to him. But I wanted to meet him so bad because he created this thing, and that's the whole reason I was there. And I was even wearing my Royal Rumble hat. And I decided to get the gall to do it. I walked over towards him, and he stood up and just went, ah! And then turned around and walked away and left. And I was like, oh.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was me meeting Pat Patterson.
That is the
Wow,
fucking
that's
best
kind of cool.
story.
Yeah.
Say what?
It's like, oh, but, oh.
He definitely had drinks. And he definitely was like, I'm not doing this. I'm definitely not meeting a fan right now. And this kid's
How do
definitely
I get out of
a
this
fan.
scream and walk?
Yeah. Yeah. So he just went, ah! And then turned around and just walked. And I was like, oh. All right.
You were bummed, but it's
I was bummed.
It was kind of funny.
I was super bummed because I even went and sat down. I sat down to the next producer and I was like, there's a good possibility that's the only chance I'll ever have to meet him, to be honest. And he yelled in my face and left.
Yep.
And you know what? You were right.
And everybody in that situation, I think, was correct.
That was cool how Triple H said that he had everybody stop in the PC for like 15 minutes to watch the match between Patterson and Sergeant Slaughter. It was like just like a 15-minute break, or like just to remember his legacy and all of that, just how good of the wrestler he was, had his time and everything. So, you know, that's the one thing about Triple H. He loves tradition, like
Yeah.
big tradition guy, like him bringing back in Bruno Sammartino and all that, like just like mending, like Paul Ellering being a manager for AOP and stuff. So Triple H like saying to everyone, no, we need to stop and watch what this guy did in his career, and just won at least one of his matches. So, and outside of Triple H too, a lot of social media from other superstars. I mean, the one that really hits out to me is the one from Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn saying that nobody really believed in me except Pat. And what did he say when Sami won the NXT title against Neville? He was the only producer to run out, and apparently the story was like, someone said, "Pat, don't run out there," and he goes, "Well, you try and stop me," and he ran out because he was Sami's biggest fan and everything. So just a lot of praise coming his way.
Yeah, I couldn't believe the Sammy story because he detailed it that way, and when he even posted a couple pictures and even circled Pat and said, "Look, he's literally the most happy person in this entire ring." Everyone's there to celebrate with Sammy because of the moment, and I think it was also supposed to be the moment of crowning the new NXT champion. It's supposed to be symbolic in a lot of ways, but for Pat, it wasn't. He just loved Sammy that much that he just wanted to be a part of that moment, and that's incredible. And then when you think about it, because I know Sammy had a lot of fanfare as El Generico, but realistically, I don't think that people took him super serious or thinking that he was going to be a main star there. I think people assumed he'd go there and just be another guy on the roster. And the idea that you show up and Pat Patterson's like, "No, this is my guy." Like, oh shit. You're going to get a chance. Clump, anything you wanted to say on Pat?
I mean, the first thing I remember from him was him as a stooge, and just like, kind of not a lot outside of that. And then when I got back into wrestling, all the stories of him and seeing him just kind of offside, I was like, that's awesome. And then, hearing the story that he's the first intercontinental champion, and then how much he did for wrestling. Hell yeah. I don't know near as much about wrestles, which is why it's weird that I'm on this podcast, but it makes me really happy. And no, also, I mean, I will say incredibly important. We haven't talked about as a person who for letting people, or as a symbol for people who don't fit the mold. Pat Patterson having a long storied career when it was the worst kept secret in wrestling that he was gay, and he had a partner, and there's these awesome stories of his partner being part of everything. And that I think, to me, one thing it shows is that this is a place where people can perform and succeed and be the best. But it also really spoke to me in that we hear a lot about how big parts of the fandom and the behind the scenes of WWE is very conservative. Pat Patterson, if that were really the case, do you truly think he would have had these awesome stories of him and his partner throughout time in wrestling? No. That's awesome to me. So that's a big thing that really sticks out more than his career, his effect in the ring to me, is that I view as very important to people who have struggled to be that open being there. So I align with that. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. I think something else that I don't know, kind of hit me as like a big thing, and I don't think that it I mean, it must have occurred to people, but I don't know if they thought of it the same way I do, and I don't know why I do. But the idea that he wasn't one of the guys who were let go or furloughed or anything. He was still actively a part of everything, so far as we know. I believe that he wasn't coming in based off of some of the things we've said and heard, but I don't know. We don't try to pretend we're insiders at all, or that we have information that they don't. But the way that Bruce has always talked about him on the show and said things is, I don't know. I feel like it's likely he was still involved in a lot of phone calls during all this too. Like the idea that you think about his career and how much he loved pro wrestling. He literally ended his life still in the business. Like he never stopped because he didn't ever want to, and he never looked happier. Like in all those pictures, it was incredible. Amanda?
Yeah, for me, that's the biggest thing is he really championed a lot of people that really, I think once they got over to the E that, no one either really majorly cared about or it was like they were one of Pat's kids. And I think that it's a huge loss. I mean, you can see it. I know like Jake Atlas was talking about it, and he was one who was definitely glad that he had, he got to work with Pat for, the limited time that he got to. And I think that that's really kind of the sad takeaway, because sometimes you think, there are people who they just don't care with some of these guys that come in, like, like a Sami Zayn, like nobody cared. Like, what was he really good for? He was good for what they knew was going to be good matches against Kevin Owens. But what else is there? So that's a hard thing. And especially a lot of these guys that do go in, I mean, it's incredible. I would love to hear, because I'm pretty sure Chris Hero has 1 billion and 2 stories about Pat. I would love to hear some of his stories and, in his time, that he's, spent with working with Pat as well too. So I'd love to hear that. But it's just really, it's really sad.
Especially a guy like Chris Hero, who's obsessed with history and tradition, like Grim was just saying about Triple H. Like, people think of Chris Hero and they think genius of wrestling, and that was part of his gimmick, but it also seemed like a very real thing. Like, he just,
oh yeah,
what did he not know? Him and Drake Maverick both. They probably, I imagine both of them picked his ear quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that was a big hit. That was a big loss. But like Grim said, a ton of people with a lot of stories that were outside of the ring stuff. It wasn't like, oh, remember this angle or that. It was, remember when he championed this, and remember when he backed me on that, and remember how much he cared and how fun he made everything. Fuck. I'm literally choking on nothing. I don't have water over here. I do have water. All I saw was whiskey and coffee, and I was like, I'll do what I have to do.
What choices?
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, huge loss. Huge loss. So, tears in our beers
And
to
coffee.
Pat Patterson, legend.
And Sonic.
Yeah, and Sonic. We'll see you down the road.
Just don't scream at Martian Men.
Mm-hmm.
That would be, well, actually, that might be funny.
Haunted
Was
by
there
the
anything
ghost
else?
of Pat Patterson.
Ah!
Just keep screaming at me.
Why?
Was there anything that either or any of you wanted to drop in? Any last thing about Pat or no?
Oh, I always forget when he became the first Intercontinental Champion. He beat Ted DiBiase in the finals of that tournament. FYI.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, if you have it there, isn't the story not that they handed him the title and told him on his way to the ring that we're just going to say you won it in a tournament in Rio de Janeiro.
Rio de Janeiro, right.
Because he didn't know how to pronounce the city. But there never was actually a match. They just recorded a match with him and DiBiase for the title in a tournament that never happened in a country he couldn't pronounce.
Right, because it was because technically Pat Patterson won the North American Heavyweight Championship, and then the fictional one we're talking about, the Rio de Janeiro one, is the South American Championship, locking him in, making it the Intercontinental Champion.
It's incredible.
History, baby.
I love it. But as Bruce says in his podcast all the time, but it wasn't a rib. And anything else, or you guys good?
I'm good.
There we go.
Yeah, that was my only story about meeting him. I never ran into him any other time, but Royal Rumble was my absolute favorite. It still is. Well, I guess depending on who wins sometimes, but let's see. The only other thing we'll do before we hit the stuff is Triple H had his media call. There was two things in there that we thought were particularly poignant. One of which was he was asked directly what they see or what they're foreseeing or what their foresight is on the idea of performing in front of live crowds again. And he, more or less, in a very, very professional way, said, I don't fucking know. Like, it doesn't sound like it's on their docket of things to make sure is happening sooner than later. It seems like something that they're just cognizant of and aware of. And whenever that can happen, I suppose. Like, but it didn't sound like something that they were saying definitely not happening anymore. Which was also a rumor that was going around, was that they were going to just stop touring. Which I guess being in front of live crowds doesn't mean you have to tour either. So maybe they'll meet somewhere in the middle. I don't know.
The big time money saver for them. No travel. You stay in one home base. Saved a lot on their bottom line this year. Well, even with no live attendance, the gate, you're not getting that, right? Or merch or things like that, right? But apparently it's enough where, because they're not traveling in the trucks and the flying here or there and everywhere, it actually lowered it actually helped out with their spending, their overhead. So, so they're not
the
in
first
a rush
quarter.
to get that side of the thing.
Yeah, I don't think they're in a big rush either. But I mean, their first quarter after the COVID shut everything down, they were like 50 million up from expected, and they went, well, we didn't go anywhere. And I went, oh yeah. Like, because everyone was like on their edge of their seat. They're like, man, they haven't sold a single fucking ticket since before WrestleMania. How do you have a company without WrestleMania tickets? And they go, well, we just didn't leave, so we just saved it all.
Yeah.
We got rid of Zack Ryder, so we're good. What? He's fine. He's doing fine. He's always ready, that guy.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, so I wonder about that too, what their end goal is going to be on that, or if they're going to do any kind of like small touring. I also think that it's tremendous for the talent. I think they're loving this like travel once a week thing and be home 4 days a week, 5 days a week, when before it was all like reverse, So
Gotta get that Lesnar schedule.
They're all getting that Lesnar schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So that just provides longevity for everybody. So I think that's really good. The other thing that they talked about was partnerships. They'd asked about with Impact and AEW doing their thing, and if WWE would ever be working with a rival, as it were. I love when people say it that way. And he talked about how WWE is always open. He goes, we've worked with other companies in the past, and if it's a good working business relationship, we're not against listening to that. We're not trying to not work with other companies. He's like, we did very much a lot of work with Evolve and Shimmer.
Did they buy Evolve? That's kind of...
They bought
Evolve after it was going out of business because of COVID.
Well, not so well. I don't want to be negative about Gabe Sapolsky, but anyways, but yeah.
When you think about it from a business perspective, because I was like, because the internet was going nuts, going by like, oh, they said they would work with a rival. That's bullshit. They never have. I mean, for one, I don't know that Evolve's a rival, but for two. No. People forget he was emphasizing the business side of things. It has to be a business partnership. There has to be something that WWE is getting out of it. They're not just gonna put people on TV that they get nothing out of, right? So they forget things like ECW in the 2000s and OVW in the, I think also 2000s, Smoky Mountain in the 90s. These were all companies they were working with that they didn't own, but that they fed some money into because they had a need for some sort of place to send people as they learned. Now they have NXT. The partnership stuff is a little bit less, but NXT had that same kind of partnership with Evolve until that became whatever it was. So I don't know. I think people, embellish. Producer said something she wanted to say.
He highlighted long-term benefits. If it's beneficial long-term. And he said, we're not talking 2 years, 5 years. We're talking 10 years.
Yeah. He was saying there need to be long-term benefits. He's like, this isn't like a 2-month or 3-month thing. We're not looking for 6 months. He goes, I'm talking like a 10 or 15 year partnership. Like, it's got to have benefits long-term, which makes a lot of sense. How much money has AEW used on talent unsigned to do their TV and then sent on their way that is going to give them no return? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's a bad business practice or not, but from a business standpoint, it's understandable why another company would say, yeah, we're not just going to bring in a ton of indie guys, give them a ton of TV time, let them do whatever they want, and then never see them again. We'd like our money to be an investment and not just an expenditure. Shareholders investment. I don't know. What do you guys think? Clump, what are you thinking?
I'd like to, yeah. I think it'd be cool. I'm still kind of skeptical.
Yeah,
I'm skeptical. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening in. It's really nice words. Yeah, they've done stuff in the past. I don't see it happening because you're right. There needs to be a benefit to both sides, and it's kind of hard to, in a scale way, benefit WWE in a dollar way that they would, as a company at that scale, you're going to be very conservative inherently in what you do. Mm-hmm. So when somebody, we can all think, yeah, it'd be awesome if they had, all of these people. Not really. They need the support of it. They need the, it needs to pay dividends rapidly. And so I don't really see it happening. I also am still like, I thought every company you listed they had bought and then sold. Like, I honestly was like, I thought they owned them. I thought they owned them too. I thought they owned them, with the exception of, or Jerry Lawler owned it, but they owned Jerry Lawler for a little bit. So
they were all companies that they were putting money into so they wouldn't go out of business, but they didn't own most of them, not until up until the very, very end of where it's like, well, we either buy it out or it just disappears. But there was a lot of them that just were in existence before, and then they were feeding money into a lot of them just to keep them up so they could keep that going, but they didn't really own them. And a lot of them still had a lot of autonomy in their own way.
So they leased them like a car?
Kind of. They invested in them because they thought they could get an output out of it, right? It's got to be long-term. Yeah. You got to get an output. Now, and that's the other thing is I like what you're saying is like you're skeptical, but like you like what they're saying. I think the idea of what he said I like because there's the narrative that WWE refuses to do these things because they hate this and that. And he really broke it down from just the most basic business standpoint of, well, what are you going to do for me? It's a business. Like, we are the biggest. Mm-hmm. Of course, we're not just going to put on anybody. And all the fans, obviously, that's what they want all the time on the internet is, hey, WWE, you have money, just blow it. And I liked his presentation of it just being like, yeah, we don't just waste money on things. We make investments and stuff because business. And then that's what I liked about it is I agree with you. I don't think we're going to see an AEW WWE partnership at all. I don't think anything like that's going to happen. But I think that the narrative undermines the idea of them actually investing in the smaller companies and doing well by them. They picked up a ton of them too. Amanda, what were you going to say about it? And Dorkchop says he's got to go. Dorkchop, thanks for coming through. You're going to miss all the AEW talk. I don't know if you saw it. Amanda, anything on that?
Well, with Evolve, going back to Evolve, because I was just thinking about it, I think the biggest move for them purchasing Evolve, not was to help them out because they were struggling, they wanted the video catalog. Because if you ever look at some of those matches that Evolve has had, I mean, it's just unbelievable. And I can see with being a skeptic about, like, they shouldn't really invest. If there's anything they should invest, is really partnering with someone from Japan. I'm not saying go to New Japan, because New Japan, I think, is still leery about everything after the whole ROH thing 2 years ago. But I think that, they've got so much. I mean, they pretty much destroyed British wrestling with this NXT UK, and you're really not doing anything with that. So I think that, there's a lot of things that they still need to kind of get through in their wheelhouse before trying to say, oh, let's partner with all of these people. But I think with Evolve, it really was for that catalog that they had.
It was, but the company had already declared bankruptcy. And that's what I mean. Like, they didn't buy Evolve. They didn't own Evolve. Evolve was a separate entity. Once it went bankrupt, they said, well, we're not letting that catalog just disappear.
Yeah. Well,
so, yeah, 100%.
Because the financial deals, why they were in that hole anyway. It was all about that catalog. But I think that at the end of the day, I thought they had a working relationship with Pro Wrestling Noah, but I could be wrong. I don't know why I felt like they did.
I know in the late 90s they had a working relationship with NJPW, actually. And you saw a number of those guys show up on like Sunday Night Heat and stuff, and a few of them show up in the Rumbles and stuff. and kickoff shows, they were using them. I think that's where Taka and Funaki came from. I think they were over there from NJPW and eventually got signed. So
Indeed.
I mean, yeah. So it's yeah. I think that there's a very realistic business way to look at it, and I think that there's a way that the fans like to yell about it online. Grim Reaper, anything you want to add?
Honestly, relationships with other companies is to give more exposure to one company over the other, right? So if you look at when ECW and WWF at the time, we can say that now because Vince McMahon said that a couple weeks ago. So when they had that relationship back in the late 90s, early 2000s, where you had ECW wrestlers showing up on Raw, things like that, it was to give ECW that boost, essentially. Obviously, Paul Heyman made those deals with Vince McMahon and worked all that through. Paul Heyman went into detail with that in his documentary a couple years ago, which I thought was really cool. A lot of behind the scenes on that. But just I believe that we talk about the the cross promotions of ROH and New Japan and all that. It's just to give cross promotion to show like the for ROH to show their stars in Japan and New Japan to come over to ROH and show it to the American audience and everything. So I think it could be mutually beneficial. But in the case of WWE, I mean, you have Evolve and ICW on the network. It's like giving this library to people that never seen a single, you might see people from there now in WWE or NXT, but you'll see them back when they were first coming up, or other independent wrestlers that we'll never see usually. So just it gives us that exposure all the way around. And WWE would be a good vehicle for that, for those smaller promotions like they did for Evolve.
Yeah, absolutely. I was watching the Tony Storm pack. What did they do? They did it wasn't a special.
The best of Tony Storm on the Indies, effectively, and it had Holodead from Mission Pro Wrestling. And I thought that was really cool to see her on there. But yeah, it's like you said, you're seeing a lot of talent that you wouldn't normally see them on, and you're not likely going to get in WWE soon. If you do get to Tony and Holodead, it's not going to be for years because, for one, Holodead's got to get signed by WWE, and then they have to get to a point where that makes sense. You know what I mean? So I do think that's pretty cool because, hey, once I saw her in Mission Pro, I was very curious. And then when I saw I could see a match with her versus Tony, I was like, well, I know I'm going to like at least half this match. Let's check it out. So I agree.
Hey, Mark,
that.
Have you seen some of Holodead's matches tagging with Thunder Rosa?
No, I know they're really good friends, sisters. Though.
Oh no, they're a badass tag team. I'm surprised that no one has picked them up.
Yeah.
Because they're as a tag team, I mean they're incredible. Obviously individually they're incredible, but as a tag team they're just they're pretty top notch.
It's crazy. All right. I'm all right with that. She was used in the last Mission Pro episode as a commentator. She wasn't even in the ring, so I was really curious. Oh, Joshy. Sup, Josh? Our moderator comes through once a year to make sure he still has the mod symbol by his name. Hey. Always respect him.
Hello.
Oh, hey there, buddy.
I think we're ready to get into NXT. And then we'll go into AEW after that. We're going to start with NXT this week. We're going to change it up a little bit because I don't think there's as much to talk about in NXT. I just thought it was a smooth, solid show with good matches that moved a lot of stories around that got me excited for TakeOver. This is the go-home show for TakeOver, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? No, well, that makes sense why it made me so excited for TakeOver. Or War Games. War Games. Is it TakeOver War Games? I don't know how this fucking works. Grim? Talk to me about NXT. What was some of the stuff you want to make sure we talked about on it?
First off, it's War Games. Okay?
War Games.
War Games. Oh, man. Regal's the best. He's just awesome. So, there's multiple, like, the beauty of NXT is that you have multiple storylines going on right now, multiple storylines that I'm actually invested in. Surprise, surprise. I want to start out kind of going in a certain order here. We'll go from maybe bottom to the top here. This Cameron Grimes and Dexter Lumis. I think this has been a good rivalry so far. Cameron Grimes has been funny. I mean, the comedic role, being scared of the stare and everything. And but I see, though, as we're ramping up to TakeOver, I don't know if that match was official. Oh, it's a strap match, right? So it's officially announced. I like the build to it. I like how in the beginning it was Cameron Grimes running around all scared and everything. And then, showing a little serious side a couple weeks ago, putting the bag over Dexter Lumis's head. And then this week, who did he beat up on this week? It was Gray,
August,
right?
August Gray.
And beat up on him at the end of the match to kind of prove a point that he's tough. Oh, you don't want to get strapped out with me. Lumis comes, he tries to run away, but so at least we show a little bit of a vicious, serious side that he can handle himself in the strap match, and it's not all comedy. And then obviously Lumis, we're still trying to, I'm still trying to latch onto him a little bit, but obviously Grimes is bringing the personality to this whole thing. Also a funny thing too with that, there was a WWE.com little short with Cameron Grimes, because after he got whipped with the strap, he's in the back in the parking lot. Mackenzie's out there. And he's like, my back. He started doing the Talladega Nights, that Will Ferrell would be like, help me, get an ambulance. My back. Tell Rico I need help. So it's like, so again, keeping the comedic factor in there, but also, again, just giving him a little bit of a vicious side heading into War Games.
That's dope. I can't tell if I'm starting to like Dexter Lumis or if I'm just getting used to him, but he definitely doesn't annoy me like he did at first. Amanda, I know you had something you were wanting to say about Cameron. I think you had mentioned earlier that you were really liking him.
Yeah, I'm really kind of digging it. It's just because I'm not used to the comedic Cameron Grimes. I'm used to this more kind of like serious kind of dude that, he's a great heel, yes, but what else is there? And I think that this is bringing a really cool element to his wrestling. See, Dexter Lumis, I can't put my finger on it. It's like, okay, you're there. I don't know if I like you. Don't know if I don't like you. So that's where, like, how I kind of feel with it. So at least with having Cameron Grimes, I think that it kind of gives me more of a reason to kind of be invested of, maybe I'll really kind of give Dexter Lumis a shot and see what he's really about. Or if I do like him, because he's just like rides the fence. Like, I'm like, I can live without him. I don't know. There's nothing that says I can live with that I need to have him around. So.
Yeah, that's true. Right now with Dexter, if he sort of just stopped, it would be a while before I was all like, whatever happened to him? Like, there's not been a huge click or investment there. Yeah. Clump, was there anything you wanted to throw in on the Cameron Grimes thing before I hit the next thing that happened through the chat?
Let's keep going.
Let's keep it going. Splinter Fox says, I'm only watching War Games for the women's War Games match and hope to see Team Blackheart come out on a tank, a real tank. Fabtina says things going to be a realish tank. So let's talk about that one before we kind of jump. We'll jump around on this a little bit. They had a little vignette there where Rhea and Amber brought an engine to Shotzi, who's working in a metal shop, it seems. So it does look like she's building a tank, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong on that? Is she building an actual tank? Is she going to come out in Rusev's tank in War Games?
Oh, yeah.
I have a very specific tank I want her to come out in. I want her to come out in like a Sherman, like a World War II Sherman tank. They're because I think anything modern, like, it wouldn't fit the aesthetic, because that almost, it looks just like the tank she was rolling in on, just scaled way up, because it has that weird squat upright look.
Yeah. No, I got you. It's funny, when I went to Google Sherman tank, the first thing popped up was Sherman tank for sale, and I was like, I'll just have Shotzi build me one. Yeah, I think it'd be cool. I agree with Splinter. I think it'll be really dope if she comes out in a real tank. Do you guys think that's kind of where we're going, though? It's honestly where I think we are going.
Yeah, I think we need to. If not, I will be forever upset. I don't know if I'll watch it any more wrestling, and I don't watch a lot right now, as you can tell.
What if
Well-
the women's War Games match is a literal squash match, and they put all the heels in the cage, and when they come out
They
to
drop
the
a
entrance
tank
for the
On them.
well, yeah, she comes out. They're like, okay, now Shotzi's coming out, but the tank just rolls out and rolls over the cage and just rolls on.
That's the
Best
This
part
was
advantage.
a literal squash.
Yeah. Best part, rolls over, pause, and then like refs look for a second, one runs over. Like
Yeah.
does the pin. Like,
Yeah.
Well, if it was AEW, they'd be cleared right away. They could finish the match.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
this bag of like red goo is able to wrestle.
Looks good.
We'll call it-
Looks
yeah.
good. He said it's fine. Spinner Fox says Blackheart is NXT's Tank Girl. Actually, that'd be cool if she did some Tank Girl like gear. I mean,
Yeah.
she's already pretty punk rock. What did you guys think of the ladder match in and of itself? We'll start with Amanda.
Well, it was a good match, but I think, like you and I had talked about it earlier, she's very rushed, and it seems that, I don't know, maybe it's me, but the cameras, I think, must make her nervous for some
Yeah,
reason.
I was trying to put my finger on it
And-
because, like,
yeah.
we've talked about it before that I think her character is super established and I think she has enough
Oh,
charisma
definitely.
to do whatever. But I was like, something about her wrestling just seems off. I feel like she's constantly slipping or messing up and then fumbles to put it back. And I feel like that's part of the thing. I feel like you were saying, she feels rushed or nervous or something, and she's not. I think she needs to calm down a little bit, and I think she needs to calm her nerves. But I think then she'll be fine.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's weird because I think that, or because of how she was trained, I think maybe her original training, it's totally definitely clashes with, some of the style that WWE has. So I don't know if it's kind of, they're trying to adopt her into, their mold, and it's hard for her to kind of do that transition or that switch or let it in. That I don't know. It's very hard to see, but it's weird because it does sometimes, like, she'll have some great things going on, and then sometimes it's like, ooh, just slow down a little, or ooh, is that really necessary? Things
Keep
like
your
that.
footing. Yeah, I feel like the biggest issue is that when she misses a step or misses a spot, she's adamant about making that spot happen. And I feel like it just makes the whole match come to a screeching halt and look a little clunky for a minute. But then when she gets back on it, she's back on, and it's fantastic. And I thought this match overall was very, very good. Just had a couple spots where I was like, just leave it. Just move. Just do something else.
Yeah, walk
You know
on.
what I mean? Like, stop. Yeah. Move on.
Yeah.
Grim, what do you think?
Good match. Good match for what it was. I'm more of a, like just kind of I like the pomp and circumstance at the end. I really liked a couple of things in the actual match itself. So towards the end, the interferences that were happening and everything. So awesome that Indy Hartwell came out with that ladder to let them all off the stand. Because last week when I saw, the person in the mask, that might have been Pat McAfee. That helped Kyle O'Reilly, that knocked Kyle O'Reilly off the ladder. I'm like, why didn't the Undisputed Era just jump off? But that's the point, because it's so high up in the air. So I'm glad that they did this little trick where, they bring the ladder out, and now everyone can interfere and everything like that, right? And then you have the melee. Obviously, Io Shirai showing up, awesome at the end. Big fan of Io, just awesome. But I'm a sucker for the bowling pin moonsault, where the moonsault and then everyone falls like bowling pins. Like, I like that. Just everyone just goes, oh no, and we all just get knocked out. And then obviously Shotzi winning at that point. I'm going to be interested to see what that advantage looks like. Maybe have Raquel Gonzalez look like a beast and have her take on 2-on-1 until the second person from her team comes in, from Candice's team comes in, like give like a heel a push. Maybe that could be Raquel, could be the first one in to go in that disadvantage.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting that they gave the advantage to the baby faces, because I think that's the first time I can think of where the heels haven't had the advantage, because the match to me doesn't make clear sense in my mind easily to have the baby faces have the advantage the whole match. It feels a little weird. It feels like a real good babyface story is, oh no, they can't do this. The odds are against them. That's how we get hyped up for them. And I know it's really simplistic, but hey, a lot of good stories are really basic when you break it down. The hero's journey is kind of the basis for almost every hero movie you've ever seen, and other movies that you may not realize is actually a hero movie. It's still based off that same basic premise of the hero's journey. So I just don't know how you do it. And I think maybe you're right where you have somebody who's so overpowered in there that even with the advantage, they seem to be at disadvantage. It could maybe work out. Anybody got anything else you want to say about Shotzi or Raquel or the ladder match? No, good. Leon Ruff to me is hysterical. That dude sells so good. He took that one knee from, I don't think he was even Escobar, but he took a knee and he just kind of like his whole body just jerked. He just like fell back.
Oh, that was great.
And then he kind of like goes towards the corner, and Damian Priest goes to tag him, but kind of slaps him in the face, and he's just like, oh, and just like rolls over.
The ref was like, wait, are you okay?
Yeah. So then they're even doing the match, and the ref just kind of like sneaks off to the side and like goes over by Leon. He's like, are you sure you're not actually dead? So good, dude. Leon Ruff cracks me up. And congratulations again to Leon Ruff and his now fiance, Aja Smith. What a month it is to be Leon Ruff.
Mm-hmm.
But he's cracking me up. I think the match overall, that Damian Priest match, it was what it was. It was like fine, but I found it like very entertaining just because of everything happening around Leon. He came off like a star in that match.
Yeah.
I also think that Johnny Gargano came off like a dipshit during that whole thing. I thought he was awful on commentary. Am I way off?
No, not at all. Not at all.
I'm not great at defending Johnny anymore, so yeah.
He's on his own. Graham, do you like Johnny on commentary, or are we just being too harsh?
Or as a person?
Well,
you know what I mean. Yeah, you know what I mean. It was what it was. You needed him out there because the match is Sunday, so you need to put him in some type of capacity. We have all these runs. Like, it's good to have on commentary, just kind of add a little spice to it. The whole thing about the ghost space, like, oh, someone put a ghost space on. Like, okay, we get that. Although I am interested though in the whole ghost space line, or the at least that part of the storyline. You know, maybe it's a reverse retribution, so the people who were in retribution are coming back to NXT.
Hell yeah.
In the ghost mask instead of their actual mask. I'm just kidding. No, but you know, I really think that it's you know, just again, the triple threat's going to be awesome. I think Ruff is going to hold on to it. I mean, because there's a lot of gold there. And what was it too? The let's see here. Just I like how at the end Ruff tagged in. Like, you know, hey, we're partnered together tonight, Damian, but no, mine. And, you know, but then Damian Priest still does his finisher, and then Ruff just goes to the sky and splashes right down. So I liked how he took that initiative and just said, no, I'm the champ. I'm taking this one kind of thing. So that was good.
I like how he did all excited. I could do it. Let's see real quick in the chat. Splinter Fox says, I mean, babyface this time around are more powerful. Ember, Blackheart, Io, and the future Rhea. 100%. That's also my concern about giving the babyfaces the advantage is you have a really strong babyface team and they have the advantage. It kind of makes the heels look kind of like putches going in. So I'm hoping something happens that turns it around early. I mean, maybe to be honest, I don't see why Indy Hartwell wouldn't just sneak in and then actually make it a 5-on-4. So we'll see. You heard it here first if it happens. Go ahead.
I just hope, right. I just hope there was one double cross. It was last year with Dakota Kai turning on her team and all that. I don't want the same thing again for the women's match. Somebody turning on somebody before they get into the cage. I mean, that's the only way I could think of, like, oh, they have the advantage. Oh, no, wait, someone turned on someone. They don't have the advantage anymore. Like, I hope that's not a repeat of last year.
That's a good call. That's a really good call. What if they wait till they're in the ring to turn on them? Because you said not before they got in the ring. So what if the second Toni Storm gets in the ring, she hits Candice LeRae with a chair? I mean, that's still the heels, though. But I still want that.
Tony, though.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with that.
Let's see. Splinter Fox says, I mean, it could be worse. They could bring him to the main roster and have him job all the time with Ricochet. I mean, how does Ricochet loses to Slapjaw or whatever they call him? I have no problem with Gargano going to the main roster to job all the time. I'm not interested in his matches in NXT. I'd be less interested in him on main event, so... He repeated himself a lot on commentary. He came off like really insecure about what he was saying, I feel like. He just kept saying it over and over again. Ooh, 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 yeah, acting. Did you hear my line? Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Did it land? Did you like it? I don't know.
He's not known for being on the mic. So don't
So
give
why
it
put him
to
on commentary?
Yeah. I know. I don't know. They had to do something. I don't know. You know, I don't know. I mean.
Yeah. He's endearing in spite of his inability to speak.
Yeah,
but,
it's like, shh.
Just be cute. You're fine. That's what you're here for.
That's what the ladies want, you know, whatever.
You're here for it because you're 5'6" and like 130 pounds.
Yeah. He's like a 6-year senior. Splinter Fox does say, I can't understand why Tony is a heel now. How can you boo Tony? I said the same thing. I'm not going to boo Tony just because you make her mean. No. I think she's so good, and she comes off as such a star. It's really weird. But I guess we have to see how the story plays out, because at the same time, I don't think of myself as like a heel person, like the person. I just love the heels. But when I think about it, my favorites are like Corbin and Sammy and Bayley, Tony now. Like, yeah, I guess I really like the heels, but I always felt like I'm cheering for the right people most of the time, but maybe I'm just not. I mean, I really took Roman over Drew, so... I don't know. Maybe being a heel is just a little more interesting.
No.
And now that they're piping in reactions, I think they feel more confident than ever in presenting people whatever way they want.
Yeah. But there's some people that just don't fit either mold. And for me, that's Tony. So it's like, regardless if she's a heel or she's a face, I mean, she's that good that I don't care, you know? And there are a lot of people that are like that. Because that's how I kind of feel about Sasha Banks, is she's that good. She can be whatever she wants. You know, it doesn't matter to me at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a good point, too. If the story's good, I guess it doesn't matter who's booing and who's cheering. I mean, The Fiend is arguably the biggest heel on their roster, and also arguably actually their biggest babyface. The story's told so well that no one cares if they're supposed to boo someone or not. At this point, wrestling fans just boo because they're told it's time to boo. And that's not even a Thunderdome dig, where they literally say, okay, guys, this guy's bad, boo him. Which is true. I'm in Thunderdome every Raw. But, I mean, just watch AEW. The fans are booing people after they remember to boo them. MJF comes out and they go, woo! And he starts talking and go, oh, boo! I'm supposed to hate you, boo! And then they go online and go, oh, isn't he just the best? Yeah.
It's those wrestlers up front. They should not put those wrestlers up front, because you can tell after a while who's friends with whom. Like, it's crossing a line. And if you ever really watch it, it's always heavily on the one side than it is on the other. And because most of the people who are heels, technically, they don't give a fuck. They'd rather be backstage than out there. And I don't blame a lot of them. I don't. But, you know, but it's like, if you want that reaction, you need the reaction from the people up at the top. The ones that are actually know the words to Judas, not the wrestlers down below.
Well, there's that. But
yeah.
But even then, I mean, Splinter Fox saying it here too. MJF is the top heel in all of wrestling. Okay, but no one's booing him. He's the most celebrated heel in all of wrestling. A good wrestling heel traditionally has always been the person that people hate. I fucking hate that guy. I don't want that guy around. Arguably, Baron Corbin's actually the best heel in the business because he's the only one people still shit on no matter what. And that's what he wants. He doesn't want people cheering for him. If you're a fan of his, cool, whatever. But at the end of the day, he's more happy if he can get people just constantly talking about how awful and horrible he is at anything and everything. MJF's just being adored by fans all the time. And before they even had COVID, the fans did it a lot. And I used to fucking get so annoyed by it. The fans would cheer. They'd be happy. They'd be smiling. They're trying to snap pictures with him. And then he gets in the ring and they boo because they remember it's time to boo. So at this point, I don't know this whole like, oh, I can't boo them. He even says I can't boo Johnny Wrestling. He's great. And I mean, a lot of people love him.
Yeah.
But he's a heel, and you can't boo him, and you can't boo Tony. But at the end of the day, when you're in the live crowd, it's like, well, I better boo them because I'm supporting them because I want them to be successful in their role, and their role is for me to boo, so I have to boo now. The fans are the ones who are kind of like spoiling the idea of getting honest heat anymore. You know, we don't need it. We don't need honest heat if we can just tell them, hey, you're supposed to boo them now, and the fans just go, oh, okay. I can boo. I'll boo right when you tell me to.
Just like the trajectory. I was going to say real quick, it's just the trajectory of Io Shirai last year. Same thing. Goes blitzkrieg on Candice in the cage after she didn't win.
Yeah.
Goes crazy. Turns for about, 6-9 months. She's in that triple threat match with Charlotte and Rhea, wins the title. And then just she starts elevating from there. So even though you had this abrupt just explosion, it just morphed over the next year into, we like respectable face, like respectable cheers, like, oh, Io's the best, da-da-da. And we all know Tony Storm's body of work, right? So I think the same thing. You need that knee-jerk heel reaction to start it from the bottom and get up here.
Yeah. I can see that. Splinter Fox says there's no real heel. Corbin broke the third wall, and you can see real Corbin up, down in their Twitch channel. Also, if you check out Not Sam Wrestling on the WWE Network on the free version, there's an episode where he interviews Baron Corbin and talk about horror movies for a while. I thought it was really good. But he's saying the MJF is still old school heel and keeps the heel outside of the ring, but I still like him. Io, I can't boo her even when she attacked LeRae. Yeah, I'm sorry, LeRae, you're going down on this one. I get that too. That MJF is supposedly staying in kayfabe all the time, but it's to a level where you just know it's gimmick. It doesn't come off authentic at all. The second everyone online was being like MJF is an asshole, and it sounded like all the podcasters were saying, "Oh yeah, I love all these guys here. Oh, but I hate MJF because that's real, and he's really like that. He's really an asshole." It was so overdone. I went, "Oh, that guy's actually probably the nicest guy in the locker room." Everyone's trying so hard to protect his gimmick. You know what I mean? Like, it was so overdone by everyone around him that I felt like it actually, for me, crumbled the kayfabe. Because no one tries that fucking hard to tell you
no,
they don't like someone.
He does. But if there's one person who, and I will say this, and I'm not saying this because I don't like the guy and he's a little shit, but the one person who truly comes off as this guy's a little piece of shit is Sammy Guevara. You watch his vlogs. He's a little fucking piece of shit, regardless. And so... You know, I mean, I like the fact that he's like totally jealous of MJF, and I'm like, yeah, because you know what? At the end of the day, MJF's probably a good person, and you're still a little piece of shit. So yeah, I get it. But that's a great example of one. It's like Sammy, that guy's a piece of shit, regardless.
He does.
And he produces his own content, so you see it, and you're like, yeah, that kid's a piece of shit.
Yeah, fuck that kid.
Fuck him.
I digress. Was there anything else in NXT you guys wanted to cover? I will say that it did open up with a. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh.
Oh my God, Thatcher! Oh my God, no.
Yeah.
Okay. I will say this about Thatcher. Okay, watched him for many years. Good old Tim. Never for me. I'm like, why is Tim talking? Like Tim is one. You know, I'm like, don't give Tim the mic. He doesn't cut promos. What he does speaks for itself. I absolutely loved that segment, and I love him and Ciampa. I could probably watch them have a full-on something going on for like a year, over a year, because the wrestling is going to be that good and getting better and better and better. So I think that I'm
so excited for Ciampa and Thatcher.
Yeah, that was like the high point, I think, of the whole night, was that.
What I liked about it too was with as much as we say that, like, as much as you think that Thatcher's not great on the mic, and as much as he's had these promos that were kind of maybe a little bit weird here and there, I felt like they did such a good job of not saying too much, but moving that story super far. I felt like them saying less was better. It was so good. Yeah. And I do think that Thatcher's been getting infinitely more confident about talking in front of the camera, which is a huge deal in and of itself. So when he goes to put something like this together, you're used to him coming out and presenting and saying a bunch of things and being wordy and, I'll teach this person that and this. And here he is being like, I wouldn't say humbled, but here he is like, I don't want to say the wrong thing in front of this guy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's pretty good.
It actually also made me want to buy some WWE merch, and we all know that that's not my thing. But I want one of his shirts. That's not my thing. Yeah,
The
and also
Thatch's
because it's not a
Thatch
black
Can
shirt. Yes, I thought that was the best little gimmicky thing that you could do for him. And I mean, and I was actually speaking earlier with a friend of mine who's a huge Thatcher nerd, and he was like, "Oh my god, I just love that shirt." I
really want to know who came up with it.
I want to know too, and I know probably in the future if he ever goes back to wherever, you can't use that, but it's brilliant. And my friend is like, they need to make it on like track pants, like the ring comp stuff. I go, slow down, just buy the shirt first, and slow down. So, but I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, whoever came up with that is money. Whatever writer, money.
I feel like it was some idiot in the locker room. I feel like Tyler Breeze being like, "What are you gonna do? Some catch wrestling? Some Thatch wrestling? Thatch's Thatch can?" And then everyone looked at each other like, "Oh my god, did you hear that?"
Oh god. Oh lord.
That's my impression of Tyler Breeze. Producer, something you want to bring up real quick?
Before we move on from NXT, Triple H did bring up just a shout out for NXT UK. He's like, if you ever are interested in what they're all about, all you have to do is watch Walter and Dragunov.
Yeah.
And he's, they said, oh, well, are we going to see more of them? He's like, look, with COVID, we'd love to, but again, we have no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was a really cool shout out of NXT UK. But he's like, yeah, take a look. It's a different style. I really appreciate it. I love it. And that was really cool.
Yeah, I cannot get enough of British wrestling at this point. Every time I watch it, it's just like, put it in my blood.
Yeah.
Speaking of NXT and NXT UK, one of the points I want to bring up is the rejuvenation of the tag team division. Really like that Grizzled Young Veterans are in here because and that's why you have Grizzled Young Veterans. You have Tony Storm. These people that were in NXT UK, bring them over to the US so they do have that exposure, so they're not just sitting, not doing much of anything. But I like how also I thought Everrise was going to be like this. I don't want to use the J word here, but just like a lower level tag team, like not jobber tag team, but like the lower level tag team. But they want to include them in these matches, or at least kind of give them a little bit of street cred. That's why they stood tall more towards the end. I really like Imperium. I mean, when you hear Symphony Number 9 going off, I mean, talk about booing somebody or trying to boo a heel when they just have awesome entrance music like Walter. But just I like just how the tag team division, especially going with with Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, I can't wait to see all of those styles collide and everything. I'm assuming that would be more of a focal point probably at the next takeover or over the next couple of months through the holidays and everything. We'll see some more tag team warfare.
Yeah. I feel luckier than ever when I think about it. When we were at Royal Rumble, we were at the Access, and we were walking around for a long time, and eventually producers like, look, we've been walking around for like all day. I just want to sit down. We've been walking circles in this place. And I'm like, it's Wrestling Disneyland. Of course we're walking all day. And as we're sitting down on the other side where they actually had a ring up and they were doing some of that. It was that first tournament they did, the Worlds Collide tournament. The first one they did. And then while they're doing it, I hear Cassius Ohno's music play. And I was like, oh, cool. Ohno's coming out. And right after that, I heard Symphony Number 9. And I was like, all right, you can stay here. I've got to go. Literally, Walter versus Cassius Ohno is about to happen right here in this room. And I walked over there and I watched almost the whole match. I didn't watch the whole match, but I watched almost the whole match, and I was just like, this is fucking incredible.
Hoss wrestling
loud?
right there.
Yeah. How loud were the elbows, the slaps, the chops? Did it just echo throughout the entire room?
It was,
Those two guys, holy crap.
Woo!
yeah. I don't think the room it was like a warehouse, so the audio wouldn't carry that way, but I just remember every time there was like a slap or anything, it was just like, oh, fuck. Stop.
Yeah, I can attest in actually the Globe Theater in LA is pretty big where they do PWG, and I can attest even in that, because Reseda obviously was small and you're packed in there. Yeah, but at the Globe, Walter's chops, you can feel it up in the balcony. I mean, it's like, oh god, damn that! It's just like it's like sympathy beam, but you can feel it, and it's that powerful. Even with Hero, oh my god, elbows that I've seen him lay before that I'm like, oh my god, like this is I can't, you know, it's just that powerful, and it's like damn, and people try hard to, you know, to emulate that, but you just can't. There's just no way, you know, and obviously, and then the scarring is just, oh Jesus, yeah. Afterwards, I just am like, oh, these poor guys are gonna have a hand on them for a year.
It's a scar of a hand.
The scar of the hand.
100%. And yeah, I really like what they're doing there too. I also thought, I'm here for the pettiness. I love pettiness, and we'll get even to more. It gets pettier as we go. But I thought, honestly, when I saw Everrise at first, I was like, is this NXT poking fun at the best friends in AEW? Like,
no.
Yeah. Let's see real quick in the chat. Splinter Fox saying Sammy's amazing. And says that his vlogs are bangers. I think it's better than BTE. So,
No.
Sammy fan.
No. His vlogs are only good because, okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going to be that girl. This week, his vlog was only good because we got Ricky Starks in, like, his underwear. Okay? They tried to cover that, but can't do that. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I was going to. God, you know? Come on, dude. No.
You're like, I would have turned it off if it wasn't for the fact that...
Yeah, I only watch it to see my friend. And unfortunately, this week, they had that segment. So, I had to watch.
You're like, I hate it. I would never watch it. And then you see that over there, you're like, well, I'll watch this one.
I only fast forward to I could see Friends because it's funny, because he has a really weird relationship with Kip, which I don't know, but Kip's kind of strange. Kip is a strange bird. That's all I know. I don't get him, but whatever.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on with him.
Yeah.
Splinter Fox is chanting Sammy, and Sammy's a great wrestler. This is what I like. I like drinking with my buddies and when they poke fun at each other's favorites. I love Sammy. I hate him. Woo.
He's a CTE away from retirement. Remember that. Remember that. I'll tell it to his face too. He's actually
Remember
afraid
this
of
tweet.
me. Yeah, remember this. Yeah, no, I think he's afraid of me. Seriously. But then again, when you're addicted to people, that's what happens.
Yeah, you got that heel heat. You got that audience heel heat. I'm into it. Was there anything else in NXT? Oh, Xia Li.
Oh,
Yeah,
What's going on with that Xia Li stuff? That stuff is crazy, and I'm like so intrigued. And now there's a creepy woman involved, right?
yeah, what was that?
We get introductions of new characters in this story every week. I got to keep up.
Yeah. The first little bits of it, I was like, oh, this is neat. I guess I'll see where it's going. And as it keeps going, I was all like, what the fuck am I watching?
Got dark.
Yeah, I keep expecting Steven Seagal to come out from behind a shadow. Splinter Fox brings up two good points. He says, I mean, Jeff Hardy had crazier bumps and he's still ticking. Jeff Hardy did just take that fucking steel step to the head through a table on himself. Like, it's one thing when you're like, oh my God, that guy put you through a table. And he goes, no, I put me through a table. And then I slammed my own head against the chairs or the stairs. And you're so like, what? You could have protected you. No, there's no point. Like, he did it to himself entirely. And he says he has an idea who that person is. Splinter Fox, tell us who you think it is. Anybody got any theories as to who the mysterious crazy woman is? I think it's Abaddon.
We heard you guys wanted us to work together, so we're gonna do this. Nobody wanted this.
Yeah. Stop.
I'm not knocking Abaddon, but nobody wanted. Fuck.
Yeah. Stop working
We
together
don't know what to do with
immediately.
her.
He thinks
She's
it's
cool,
Maiko.
but we don't know what we're doing.
Clem, he
What
thinks
if
it's Maiko Satomura.
Those are words. Okay, what if it's Jimmy Wang Yang?
Super kicked me straight in the face for that one? Because
I thought I saw a cowboy hat somewhere.
Yeah, Jimmy Wang Yang would be amazing.
That'd be good. Clump, look in the chat and tell me that name. I feel like that name's really familiar. Why do I not know who that person is? Anybody know who that is?
No.
You don't know who it is either?
Why am I looking?
I mean, she looks like a
Oh my God, is
badass.
this-
Chikara, Mega Young Classic, NXT UK. I mean, there's a lot of reason to think she could be involved there.
She a part of the, maybe it's somebody
Coach.
in the Chinese recruiter class that happened a couple years ago.
Yeah, and she's a coach for NXT UK.
Oh, okay.
Wow, so that's actually a really good idea. Man, you got super smart on us.
Actually,
We were just joking around, Splinter Fox. You didn't get serious on us.
the end of October, it was reported that she'll be an on-air talent and coach for NXT UK.
Yeah. She's going to be on-air talent and a coach for NXT UK. So, yeah, there's no reason to expect not. She was in the Mae Young Classic. Look her up. Yeah. Wow, that's a great guess. I'm into that.
Cool.
All right, well, just crushed our whole joking. We were just going to have a good time and laugh.
Damn it! I wanted it to be Jimmy Wang Yang. God damn it!
That look like her?
I mean, it was really hard. They just zoomed in on her eye, her hair, and her nails. So it's really hard to say who it was, even if you had a good screenshot. Yeah.
Older woman.
Yeah, but that would make sense. It'd be cool. And I don't know where the hell they go with any of this because they're really pushing, was it Bao and Zia kind of in the same
Boa
training?
and Xia Li.
Xia Li and Boa. They're like really they're together in the storyline going through this training, but how do you keep a storyline with the genders being the way they are? Like they can't really tag and they're not really going to manage each other. I guess they could always be side by side, sort of like Johnny and Candice, but with less of a romantic background and more of a, well, we're a murder club background.
That could work.
Yeah. And then if they had to answer to Miko? Miiko? I don't want to fuck it up, man. I'm so bad with names. I should make Clump do it because he's got no shame, dude.
What?
Yep. Clump's like, what the fuck?
I'm good at fucking up names.
Yeah. Clump's like, I was just hanging, dude. What'd you do that for?
You told me I could just bounce in and out. What's going on?
Yeah. You told me not to focus. Then you asked me a direct question. It was fucked up.
I told you I wasn't able to watch any wrestling.
He does says Abaddon is going to be a force. Watch, I'm calling it Taker kind of force. Okay.
That makes me sad. Please
well,
don't call that.
Yeah. I say
that
remember
shit
that
back.
tweet. I think she's going to be more like Manitar.
No, it's a Mantar. Mantar.
Yeah. That's my feeling.
You know what? She could potentially be like a female Luchasaurus, but she's actually not a dinosaur. I don't know. I don't know.
I would like if they like positioned it just like that. She's a female Luchasaurus. Pause. But not like a fucking dinosaur.
Yeah.
Not an actual dinosaur, not like the
Not
real
an actual
Luchasaurus.
dinosaur. Yeah.
Back to you, Tony and JR.
She got to evolve.
So like back to you, JR, and he goes, "All right, Tony, take it away."
Yeah, he's
Fuck.
like, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Abaddon's gonna be like Undertaker. Don't make me cry.
Yeah, don't start there. Don't start there.
I'm just starting to watch wrestling again. Don't ruin shit.
Yeah.
Splinter Fox goes, now I remember why I don't listen to that bald head guy. Facts. See? I told you. He's part of the swamp. He's a Marsh fan.
Yeah.
What was it that Sam Roberts had came up with a name for? Oh, Martians is what he said. I should start naming my fans specifically on the show the Martians.
It
And
took
they live
Sam
in-
Roberts to present that to you for you to figure that out.
He presented it to
Yeah.
me, yeah. Because I
That
always referred to it
seems
as the Marsh
so
Army.
obvious.
Well, I said Marsh Army, though. But Martians is probably better. See, that's why I
think
collab
Martians
a
is
lot.
better. Martians is better. Yeah.
All right, so
yeah.
Splinter Fox is a Martian. He's definitely not a... What would you call what's like a part of a clump? Clump fraction? What's a fraction of a clump?
He's not part
Nugget?
of the Clumpy Nation.
Chunk.
Chunk. Clump fans, you're a chunk, dude.
What's a part of a clump?
Yeah. I love it. All right.
Well, I know I'm
let's
not
wrap
winning
up
him
NXT.
over. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I feel.
Amanda's like, well, I'm a heel, so
I'm a
course.
heel, so yeah, no. I actually think of myself as a tweener, but in that aspect, yes, no. Yeah,
No.
Sammy and I have heat. It's well known. Yeah.
yeah. Splinter Fox says, don't quit our day jobs. No, that's why we drink, because we have our day jobs and we're keeping them. So we drink
Unless you're
after
furloughed.
hours. Cheers to furlough.
Here's to being promoted to customer.
So, if you guys are ready for us to wrap up NXT, is there anything I'm missing in there?
I
No.
would be remiss if we didn't mention the men's main event, Undisputed Era versus Pat McAfee's
Oh.
gang.
Mm.
Oh, for
So,
shame. That's your
I-
boy.
I'll tell you what. I am
Future
a
Hall of
fan
Famer Pat
of-
McAfee. Yeah.
Indeed. But I'm a huge fan of the no-touch promos, like even the face-to-face,
Yes.
just like the melee before the match and everyone fights each other. Nah, I'm not into all that. I just don't fight until Sunday. The promo or where they were Undisputed Era, all dapper in the restaurant,
Yeah.
you know,
That
all
was a good
celebrating
video.
together and like, can't believe we've been down this road for so long. This is their fourth War Games match. Like they've
Yeah.
carried the War Games match since there's been War Games.
They haven't had a fucking choice.
No, they didn't.
True, they're the only faction.
Carry this thing we put you in every fucking time we do it.
It's teams of 4. Do we have any of those lying around? The
It'd be
one.
great if they were bad in it every time. It's like they carry. No, they don't. They're terrible in it every time. But we put them in
The
it.
action didn't pull through.
Yeah.
Go ahead, finish what you're saying, Greg.
It's cool. So I really like that, and then you had obviously Pat McAfee. He's got the gold stick. He's got the golden voice. So he was great.
Future Hall of
The one
Famer.
line about and Pete Dunne never talks.
Yeah.
Like just you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
He's so
I mean,
good.
honestly, I'm a fan of this. Future plans, like in terms of the match, this is Undisputed Era's last match as a faction. There, I said it. I thought the dinner was a foreshadow of, wow, we went down this road together. I don't know if it's going to be Kyle O'Reilly.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be Roderick Strong because he did the footsie doodle to Pete Dunne a few years ago. So he did the turn already. I think someone's going to betray somebody in the group and it's going to break them up or something, and that'll carry us into WrestleMania. I think Undisputed Era, thank you for the run. You fulfilled the Golden Prophecy last year. Good for you guys. It's time to move on.
Adam Cole,
I
Pat
could see-
McAfee, now Kiss.
Yeah. I could see Adam Cole turning on Kyle O'Reilly so we can get to some Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly matches,
Oh shit.
which I think people would be really excited for. People, not me. But here's the funny thing about this particular storyline is, for one, I think they've done it in such a fantastic way by starting it off with the surprise of Undisputed Era and the big melee, because you immediately saw a bunch of pairings ups and you went, oh my god, those two, oh my god, a match between those two. and it got you super hyped up. And then, like you said, they never touched again, not until this match. Like, they super teased of, like, imagine Kyle O'Reilly versus Pete Dunne, and you go, yes, anything to get there. But then they don't touch again after that. So I really like that. Actually, Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne had a match. But I mean, like, in these big melees, they haven't been doing that stuff again. So you get super excited about it. I also think it's funny that the promos are a little cookie cutter and somehow still coming off natural and good. Like, the whole Undisputed Era video was really worded like, in case you guys haven't realized, we have turned babyface now. And we are hoping you'll cheer for us during this War Games match. And these are the reasons that we're baby faces. Like, it really, especially when Roderick Strong was all like, I feel like we've never had to fight from underneath the way we have to fight from underneath this time. And you're like, oh, you mean like traditional baby face terminology? Like, but it's working. It's working. It got me excited for it. And then Pat McAfee and his generic shit talk to the fans, because I'm richer than you'll ever be stuff. And you're like, okay, we've heard all that. But I don't know, still made me laugh. His delivery's good. Future Hall of Famer.
He has a YouTube channel.
Yeah. Splinter Fox says, gross, the match is trash. It hasn't even happened. Said the only real reason Pat is there is because what's his face got hurt. That dude was supposed to cause the rift between UE. Ridgeland. Cole and Kyle were supposed to be a face, but he got hurt. But I can't remember his name. The dude that broke his leg. Yeah, Ridgeland. Yeah, I think this is a swerve.
Just break his leg. He decimated everything knees down.
Yeah, he's got no knees now.
Like,
he did in 1 second what it took a decade for Nia Jax's knees to do.
That's bad.
I like how in the prep for this show we're like told, hey, we want to,
she has no knees. They had a whole special about it. It's not on me. I didn't say how. I just said it was a long time coming.
Just don't shit talk, performers. Because
I didn't shit talk anybody. I shit talk knees.
We've had people, tweet us out or look at us. We've had people give us attention, So just
we don't want attention from Nia. We don't want attention from Nia.
Marsh, remember, she's not like most girls. Okay.
Most girls have knees.
Yeah, that's true.
That's one of the verses in the song, I think.
Yeah. Let's see.
That is the song.
I do think it was a pivot for sure. I don't think this is where they wanted to go, but I think that in a pinch, Pat McAfee and Adam Cole was such a good match and had no right to be. It was fucking fantastic. So you tell Pat McAfee, hey, we're also going to get rid of the rules. You can just do a bunch of crazy weird shit. That's going to be the match to watch just to see what the fuck happens. You know what I mean? This isn't like watching Ciampa and Adam Cole for the third time or Adam Cole and Gargano for the seventh time where you go, oh, I wonder what variations of that same match they're going to do. There's not been a pairing of any four of these people except once. Adam Cole and Pat McAfee had one match, and Riley and Pete Dunne had one match. Like, I want to see where this goes. This is to me the biggest question mark. Especially because Pat McAfee's a fucking lunatic. He's a crazy person.
He can't be contained.
Splinter Fox says, nah, I'm only watching the women's match, and then I'll see what you guys and gals have to say. So he's just going to watch the women's match, turn it off, and be like, I'll see what Wrestling on the Rock said about the match. Well, she just comes in and we just go like, I don't know, man.
Should I have watched the rest of it?
Yeah.
I guess.
It's like, I'll watch War Games when Sammy Guevara's in it.
They've turned him down twice, buddy.
Don't make me sad.
I'm just saying. I'm not. He can go there. I don't care. But they turned him down twice, and I had heard somebody had told me one of the comments was, "He's just not a safe wrestler." Yeah.
Good thing you proved them wrong. I will say this about NXT as we wrap it up. They did open with a package that was about 2.5 minutes. It was a music video set to Frank Sinatra's I Did It My Way. And it was all about Pat Patterson, obviously.
Yeah,
and it showed clips
really
of him
nice.
singing the song and a bunch of photos, and the photos like spanned all the years, which I thought was great. It even had one in there of him and the Undertaker during Undertaker's 30-year farewell from like 2 weekends ago. It was just a beautiful package. I watched it probably a dozen times already.
Yeah, it's a good package.
So good. And then it ended with a picture of him and Vince just laughing so hard their face looked strained. And what an awesome just moment to capture of just, I mean, that level of joy in general, but to see it like being Vince and Pat. Because you also know that Pat's been next to Vince for fucking 40 years. At least, you know?
They smell like each other.
Oh.
Nah.
So,
I like,
the same old spice.
Yeah.
But that's how NXT started, so that's how we'll finish NXT with a final farewell to Pat Patterson. One more time, cheers to Pat and all you did for literally everything that we love. So, cheers. Oh, let's see. I think it brings us to AEW, yeah, guys?
yeah.
Well, not much happened.
Winter came and left.
Yeah, it's spring now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Just because it is what we do here, as we say, if you go to twitch.tv/Wrestling on the Rocks, you can comment or during the show to derail the show. Splinter Fox does say in there that he's contesting the idea of Sammy being safe as an issue, saying, Nia, hello, how does she have a job? Seth injured 3 wrestlers. Banks with Paige. I mean, the difference is you're talking about a couple. I mean, Nia is hard to defend in general, but realistically, she still has a lot of the roster willing to work with her. None of these people who were injured ever said the injuries were caused due to an unsafe moment, but a lapse in coordination, where if the same people who would willingly work with these people say, yeah, but this other person actually feels unsafe to be in the ring with. I mean, accidents will happen, but it's a lot about your comfort level and how you feel. So maybe someone's more accident prone than someone else. That's totally legit. But I think it all comes down to the comfort level that the other performer has in the ring with you. And if the idea is, I don't feel safe with that person in the ring, is different than I've had several accidents with that person in the ring.
Yeah, it's more of with him, it's more of I don't feel safe with that person. And then a lot of it also, too, is he does a lot of crazy shit. And even if people tell him no, he still does it. So again, you know, you can't have an unpredictable person in that light. So, and I'm not saying all of this because I don't like the guy, but honestly, like when you look at some of the stuff he does, it's like, man, like, yeah, you know, dude, if you want longevity in a career, you got to cool some of that stuff. And there are some people, obviously, now who did that flippy gippy shit that have changed their ways. Another person I hate, Will Ospreay. Another person I don't like. Again, same thing. He's changed it up. I'm not saying Sammy needs to bulk up, like, whatever, but it's like you have to change your style and adapt to it because that's the big thing. And that's all he really can do. Let's face it. I don't know what else he could do.
I want him to get a big beer gut.
That'd be so good. Put on some massive weight.
No, he would not do that. He would not do that. He's a fat shamer, so no.
Yeah.
No.
That's more the reason I want it to happen. I want genetics to fuck him in the ass.
Genetics aren't going to screw him in the ass. No.
Yeah.
He'd assume die before that happens. Trust me. I think so.
I will say this about, because he was bringing up the buckle bombs hurting Finn and Sting. Both of those instances, again, it's different having accidents in the ring versus the other thing. So Finn took a buckle bomb to the barricade, and Finn talked about trying to catch himself when he shouldn't have. And Sting talked about how the buckle bomb basically reflected. They did a really good Untold, or what I felt was really good. I guess it's up to you to watch and decide good. On WWE Network. And they went into the medical condition that he found out he had because of the buckle bomb. That had anyone else taken that same buckle bomb, they would have been fine. But he had an issue and a condition in his neck that he did not know about, and the doctors did not catch. And it was that condition that made that move otherwise unsafe. If he had known he had the condition he had in his neck, he wouldn't have taken it, obviously, or likely, or maybe he wouldn't have been cleared to wrestle. Who knows? But it was an unknown factor, and it was because of that buckle bomb that they were able to diagnose it and treat it. And spoiler alert, he said recently in a number of interviews, I believe 2 or 3 months back, that because of that injury and because of bringing that condition to light, he's been able to treat it and work with it to the point where he feels comfortable being cleared to wrestle, and he wished he'd be cleared to wrestle, and he was at the time during the interview a little upset that WWE wouldn't clear him to wrestle because he's been treating that condition, which would make him otherwise fine, right? So whether or not WWE clears him or not, I think comes down to their own comfortability at times. I don't think it's always 100% condition. I think it also comes down to what risk do we want as a company.
Are we foreshadowing something, buddy?
But it's probably going to be a topic of conversation. So that's just to say that the Finn and the Sting injuries were seemingly actually anomalies in the thing. And also when you do something 1,000 times, 2 going bad, I mean, that doesn't sound to me like generally unsafe. If you've done it 1,000 and 2 were bad, seems like a decent percentage. You just don't want to be the 2% that hits it. Although Splinter Fox does say, I don't know what that was. I don't know what I just did. She says she hates all the good ones. I can really agree with her too. Let him getting checked up on the doctor's issues, correct? Yeah, he said he started chanting Osprey and then says, "I'm just giving her shit."
Okay, I just don't like people who are pieces of shit.
In general. Oh,
I
was
gonna say like that's me too. I don't like people.
I was on board with you up until
and that for me, it affects how I watch these people. Okay, Sammy Guevara, he brought that on himself with me, but even then before I thought he was trash anyway. But Osprey, again, he's not that great. You're not the best in the world, buddy. You're not. The people better than you, and I also am under the guise of there's 3 things in life that are certain: death, taxes, and Skrull beats Osprey.
Yes.
And Sammy gets a fucking beer gut.
I do like Splinter Fox just healing it up in the chat, just chanting away at Osprey and Sammy. He's gonna make a shirt that's like half Osprey and half Sammy. Sort of like how you had your split shirt. He's gonna do the same thing, but with like your 2 least favorite. It's gonna be great.
Well, yeah, they are actually, they are probably 2 of my least favorite. But I do like a lot of good ones. But
you do like some of the good ones?
No.
Let's talk a little bit about what happened on Wednesday Night Dynamite, or I like to call it Saturday Night Live, All Elite. This week actually wasn't as jokey, or if it was, I zoned out. So it opened up with a Battle Royal. Winter came, showed up. So it opened up with a Battle Royal, and the Battle Royal was 15 minutes long. I don't understand why they keep having Battle Royals when they clearly don't know how to book a Battle Royal. They all come off sloppy and weird. People come off weird. I thought Rusev, or Miro, came off looking real dumb. Let me see. I had a note on it. Let's see. Open a Battle Royal in which MJF looks stupid. Commentary asked if Wardlow is the brains of this operation. That's how stupid he looked.
Yeah.
Miro looked like he barely stacked up against Wardlow. So Miro's supposed to be this big beast coming in, and he couldn't even intimidate anybody in there. Who's this little dude he's flipping around? Janela? Janela's not even scared of him. Come on. Well, Janela's not scared of shit. That guy's like a lunatic.
Janela's I love Janela.
But then he gets nose to nose with Wardlow, and he can't push Wardlow around at all. So it wasn't even like I'm big. It's like, actually, I'm a smaller big guy. I'm one of the smallest big guys. And here's 2 guys who have sold like crazy for like Jungle Boy and shit. Clumps, is that right?
No.
I thought I heard him say he's going to be right back.
No, I said he's a medium guy.
Oh, yeah, he's a medium guy. Amanda, go ahead, say what you're going to say, and then we're going to pitch over to Grim.
Okay, it's funny because like with Rusev, I don't know, or Miro, sorry, whatever, all these names. I don't know. I don't get it. Like, is it because of his little affiliation with Kip Sabian? Is this why he's kind of being billed as weak? But I really don't understand the, all of the, the with Jungle Boy, because they don't use him other than he's with the dinosaur to make the dinosaur look valid.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that for me is probably Jungle Boy is the biggest disappointment in any of the signings that they've had, is they don't use him other than he's in.
That's true.
thing
That
with the
dude should
dinosaur.
be on the tip of everybody's tongue by this point.
Yeah,
People should be
he's
talking about him.
amazing. He's
They've been on for
amazing, and I
long.
don't understand. Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, you know, all I know of the kid is he's, you know, like, okay, that's Jungle Boy Jack Perry. It's like, yeah, I know that's Luke Perry's kid. I know, we know JR. Okay, calm down. Okay, but it's like, no, you don't showcase him. I mean, they did do a little bit of a singles run, right, at the beginning of AEW, but that went away.
Then it went away. Now, here's the other thing too: is I do listen to Cornette stuff, and it's funny because I know that Young Bucks were quoted as saying nobody listens to Cornette to hear him talk about things he likes. They only listen to talk about why he rants, which is why he yells so much. I'm actually the exact opposite. I kind of zone out when he's saying how much stuff sucks. But I do pay attention when he goes, I like this guy, or this one was good, because I do think that there's a lot to be said for when a guy like Cornette, whose aptitude is to dislike a lot of what he's seeing, that when somebody catches his eye, I think something's there to note, right? And one of the things he brought up with Jungle Boy, and he goes all like, look, with that first look and first thought, there's no reason I should like this guy. And he goes, but there's something about this kid. There's a ton of charisma, a ton of upside. Like, the guy's got a ton of skill. He goes, if he can just harness it, if they can book him in a good way, he goes, he could be the ultimate. He said that he could literally be the Daniel Bryan for AEW. And you're all like, oh, I could see that. But then, like you said, he's just kind of like, what happened to Jungle Boy?
Yeah, it's
If
weird.
even a
And if
dude
people-
like Cornette can say that's your guy, you know what I mean? Like,
And it's, if people want to see a good test of Jungle Boy, you know, in that singles aspect, he did a lot of really great bangers with versus Jake Atlas when Jake Atlas was going to WWE from APW, and most of them are all on YouTube now. But you can see that potential that he had. I mean, the two of them, I mean, they probably had two like matches of the year that I've seen like live, and I'm like, wow. And within 3 weeks of each other too. And it was just, it kept getting better and better and better. So definitely, yeah, I don't, that's one I don't understand. Like, let the dinosaur do his thing with Marco. I mean, that's another weird pairing. I don't know. But,
let's
or
throw
his
it
buddy.
to Grim.
Yeah.
Let's throw it to Grim and see what he thought about the Battle Royal.
The Battle Royale. I gotta tell you, I like again, I look at the story part of it. It's like, right. Battle Royals could always be sloppy, especially when you have, 100 people in there all at one time and you just have to make it happen. But then towards the end, some of the stories start coming out. The whole Sean Spears, Scorpio Sky. I like the power of the punch with the loaded glove, so that's always fun. Tully Blanchard being involved. Again, the history part. I like Tully, from back in the day. And I might have missed this. What's the relation with Adam Page and the Dark Order? Is that a thing that's going on right now?
John Silver from the Dark Order is trying to fuck Adam Page, is what I gather.
John Silver's trying to fuck everything, actually.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, am I misreading that?
You're misreading.
I mean, I saw a lot more sexual tension later on in the show, but yeah, Hangman Page is being courted by the Dark Order.
Yes, that is correct. But those who watch was it YouTube wrestling you call it, Marsh?
Yeah.
Or whatever? Yeah. If you watch BTE and stuff, the angle is they've asked him to be, join the Dark Order. He actually, I think, was considering it, but he got very disappointed because they were all huggy and didn't look like they were going to include anybody. So Hangman, walked away kind of drunky. That's why I thought certain people were coming.
You described Hangman's, story arc thus far in AEW. He walked away kind of drunky.
Yeah, he walked away kind of drunky. Yeah, that's Hangman. I love Hangman, but that's his arc.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
I'm think the way I see it, because again, I always say this, BTE, the stories always go full circle, and we still have not gotten full circle with Marty Scurll. And I know that's a controversial person, but that's where I thought they were heading. is I thought the person who attacked Mox was going to be Marty, but now it probably was Don Callis. So, but we're not at that point yet. But but BTE does play a big role in that, and it's very confusing. And I don't understand why John Silver is such a horny dude.
It's so weird.
And where that's coming from.
In the chat, real quick, Splinter Fox is saying a few things. He says, who won the last match between them? I think Ospreay and Marty? I don't know. Let's see. He said Bad Battle
Marty.
Royal. He said WWE is the king of those, of Bad Battle Royals. I'm not sure what he's talking about because in my mind, when I watch Battle Royals in WWE, they all end the same way. I'll give you that. 100% of them end the same way. But I'm not watching a bunch of people laying on the ring apron waiting for their spot. And I'm not watching everyone try to have mini matches in the middle of the ring while everyone just stands against the ropes and literally watches because they're not sure how to make it look like they're busy. And that's what I mean by they're not good at booking these things, is they don't know how to utilize the non-focus because the non-focus starts to look really weird and sloppy when everyone's just standing there watching. Let's see, he says, if Cody would move the F out of the way, he's a spotlight hog. Jungle Boy is taking a back seat to his twin. Oh, there's that big dude who looks just like Jungle Boy but bigger. I wonder if that is an issue. Tell that dude to cut his hair. Fucking stop.
Who, Griff Garrison?
Yes. He goes, but the twin is really good too. They just look that same though, and that's true. I think they should make Garrison cut his hair. I agree with that.
They should make him do, since he's teaming with Pillman, make him get a mullet.
That'd be so funny.
Mullet.
And they can talk about it on Being the Elite. He said YouTube wrestling. He goes, you would like Hangman, and then says Marty. You want to talk about Sammy though? Hey, we acknowledge he's controversial, but I don't know. So ends up happening with the match is Wardlow is the brains. MJF looks like an absolute fucking tool, and Orange Cassidy throws out Wardlow, and now you have MJF and Wardlow. Or not Wardlow. MJF and Orange Cassidy set to have a one-on-one match next week for the ring. Which I thought the whole point of this was to build a story that wouldn't have happened otherwise and that we would care about. I thought that meant Sammy Guevara was going to be in the end, and you'd have Sammy versus MJF over the ring because then if Sammy wins it, now there's more heat between Sammy and MJF, but then that whole thing kind of fell apart. So now we're just getting a match you would have gotten anyways. Orange Cassidy versus MJF could happen any time.
I'm thinking though too, coming the other way on this, building more and more heat with the dissension within the inner circle, right? So you have MJF accidentally knocked out Sammy Guevara from the Battle Royal. They kind of the friction that way, and we'll get to the inner circle Jericho stuff in a second. But when did Orange Cassidy start doing orange punches, like a la Superman punches? Maybe when Roman stopped doing them, he took them over from there, or was that always a part of his thing? Because he was like watching Roman videos on those.
Yeah,
that's
new.
on you guys. Is that new to you?
Yeah.
Clump, do you remember Superman punch before with Orange Cassidy?
The idea makes me giggle now.
Yeah.
Like I picture. Like
no,
I picture
he does
him...
He does a legit Roman Reigns Superman punch. And they call it the Orange Punch.
Yeah, there's actual effort. There's effort put into it. So
yeah, he jumps up, he goes all out.
Yeah.
I have zero interest.
I do think it's funny what you're talking about, the idea of him like just really not doing it. Splinter Fox says he recalls Orange doing it in the Indies, but that's why I asked Amanda and Clump, because both of them were fans of his before he even got to AEW. And Clump told me for a long time I should be watching Orange Cassidy, and I just never did.
I think I told you like around the Battle Royal or around when he appeared in like Double or Nothing, because I had only known him for a little bit before that. It was more like, look at these funny highlights, because I like giggling.
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't have any problem with you liking him. I like that you like him. But I knew that you were more familiar with his work than I am.
I don't remember him ever throwing one of those. I don't know.
Maybe this was never a big spot. Maybe they never yelled about it. Grim, what was that?
No.
I was going to say real quick, just to close the loop on your scenario of how does it cause more tension. I could see it where in the match next week that maybe Sammy Guevara comes out to help or Wardlow to help. I don't know if Orange Cassidy would get the ring per se, but like it almost cost MJF the ring. Like Sammy accidentally kicks him or hits him or something, like causing more of a wedge in the inner circle.
Well, let's talk about the next match, because Jericho versus Kaz, which, I mean, Ref Aubrey looked like an absolute moron in the entire match because of how much this stuff did on the outside. But one of those things was MJF coming out with a towel and then giving it to Sammy, so Sammy would look like he was going to throw in the towel for Jericho, because apparently that's a thing here. People just keep throwing in towels. What if during the Orange Cassidy MJF match, Sammy Guevara comes out with a towel and throws in the towel for MJF?
Yeah, I think Sammy's going to cost MJF that ring at some point.
Okay.
Only because, you know, everyone loves the best friends and everyone, you know, they want Orange to have something. And honestly, like right now, there's nothing for him to have. There's not really a title for him to have. They're not going to give the best friends the tag titles right now. So I think that that's the one thing that little faction of three can revel around. And I think it makes sense with Sammy having that tension with MJF.
Yeah.
So
Splinter Fox did say that he didn't think that Orange did it very much, but he did do the Superman punch, just to throw that out there, which sounds good. He probably did it from time to time. Go ahead, Amanda.
Yeah, no, that's it with it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like Aubrey. Really blows me hot and cold as a ref. I don't know.
Okay.
Sometimes it's like she's too much. Sometimes I'm like, you're just not enough, or I don't know. But of all the refs, she's probably my least favorite of them all.
It's hard to have a least favorite in AEW. I'm going to be honest, but this one,
but if I were,
we want to make sure we don't get personal. Don't.
No.
You know.
What are you talking about? No, the refs are awful. And this is the thing is, so someone was telling me, because I'd made mention about in the main event about how stupid they made the ref look and how awful they made Aubrey look in this one. And someone's all like, oh, I don't get hung up on that stuff. I just watch wrestling because I like it. And I was like, I get that. Except being a ref for a company as large as AEW or WWE or even Evolve, I was like, that's a literal dream job for me. So me as a viewer, I'm watching my dream job get shit on and disrespected. It's not super fun and easy to giggle at when you're watching that happen to your dream job. And I said, I get enough of that in my real job every day. I don't need it from my dream job. You know what I mean? But yeah, for whatever reason, they just do not give a shit about their refs, which is a shame too. Cause like as someone who's like, oh, I would love to work for a company that big someday, I got real hesitations to think that with as much of the different careers I've had and the amount of times you just feel like you're just being so disrespected, I don't know if I would even ever want to go to a company like AEW where every match it's like, why would they do that and make the ref look that way? Especially when you watch so many other promotions, Mission Pro included, where the refs don't look that. They look like an authority. They look like someone who's in control, but also someone who doesn't have control over these people. They just are maintaining the situation. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to sacrifice your third member of the dance, because bottom line, when you go for a pin, everyone looks to the ref. The ref is just as much a part of that match as anybody else. And anytime something happens that shouldn't be, the first call is, well, where's the ref? Well, you really want the ref right now, and the rest of the time you were shitting on him, so I don't know. Maybe he doesn't come over and count. I don't know. I just want to throw that out there of like, that's why it bothers me when I see the refs treated a certain way, because it is a literal dream job. Graham, what were you going to say?
You were talking about the referees that I know I'm skipping a little bit.
Go ahead.
But there were two issues that I had, and again, some of this is subjective depending. I think in the Jericho match, Hager grabbed onto Kazarian's leg outside, like when he was trying to get into the ring. Yeah. I don't know, because he kicked him away. Because there's that whole rule where if someone tries to interfere, but you as the competitor knock them out and they don't hit you first, it's not a DQ. But I think he grabbed his leg to try to get in. I don't know if that could have been DQ. I don't know, because maybe he pushed him off into the guardrail or something. But I don't know. For me, maybe I'm hung up on that. Maybe it's just a small detail.
No, that was this match, because I put that in there. She looks like an absolute moron with the amount of shit she has pretended to not notice for no reason right in front of her face on the outside of the ring, and that was one of the things. There was so much happening right there, and she kept having to be so focused on this person's eyes in front of her that she's literally not able to see anything around her when there's so much commotion and actual things happening and people literally interfering, and she's got to pretend because no one's doing anything at all to protect her from not being able to see it. So much so when they're beating the shit out of Kaz on the outside, the inner circle is, Jericho literally just walks to the other corner, doesn't do anything, and Aubrey just walks over there and looks at him and talks to him for a while as he's walking away. He's not interacting with her at all, but she has to do something to not just be watching them beat the shit out of a guy on the outside of the ring. So she didn't know what to do, so she just walked over to Jericho to talk to him. And you're like, you had to sit, you looked at it and you had to turn around. Like, guys, just do something. Jericho, do something. Pretend you're going to run out there so she gets in your way. Something. Although Splinter Fox claims that WWE does the same thing all the time, I don't think that's true at all. I think you've noticed a couple times in WWE where flubs happen and the ref is involved with that. But I think as someone who, like I said, it's a literal dream job, I watch the refs a lot. I watch them just as much as I'm watching the wrestlers, and I would say it happens dramatically less in WWE than it does in AEW. But that's because that's what I'm watching for. You might not be watching for it. Also, he says Sky should be the TNT champion. Putting the belt on Darby was too soon. And also, Darby didn't pin Starks. Darby pulled his neck up and shoulders was up. Yeah, dude. And even Aubrey stopped counting during this Jericho match.
Yeah. That was my other ref thing.
Go ahead.
His left shoulder was not down.
Yeah.
No, don't start me on that one. Don't start me on that one. Oh my God, no. I have so many problems with that match. Yeah, but with Aubrey though, going back to Aubrey, I sometimes I think that with her, the way if you've noticed, Marsh, how they portray her, like when all the refs come out because there's like all hell's breaking loose. They try to use her as the authority figure, I noticed a lot of times. Like, she'll get in someone's face and, like, she's not afraid of them. And I'm like, come on. Like, seriously? Like, girl, you don't do anything when there's hell breaking loose outside of the ring during your match. But I don't get it. So I just don't like the way that they're using her. And she's definitely not really an authority figure. So,
100%. Now, and that's the thing is this isn't to shit on Aubrey specifically. I know you said you didn't like her.
No.
Okay, whatever. Well, but I will say that this particular type of stuff is not her fault. This is the talent's fault, just saying, hey, ref, figure it out. We're going to do this with or without you. No. Yeah. No, there has to be a reason.
I don't think she's been reffing long enough, and especially because, and I'm not saying that I don't like her. It's just, I don't think with everybody else who's reffing, she's probably the least seasoned. And she also comes from the Pacific Northwest that did not have a lot of wrestling until a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. So,
and openly she was trained by someone who taught themselves by watching WWE TV.
Exactly.
No one was trained in any of it.
Exactly. And that's the thing that bothers me, because also the main promotion that she did do reffing for was one of these it was like a hood slam. I'm not going to name the promotion. You can figure it out. It was a hood slam. And not only that too, but she was also one of the big, the creators of it too, apparently. Yeah. But, it's like, you don't have that kind of chemistry with people. Whereas like someone like Bryce, I'm going to pick on Bryce. Love Bryce. He definitely, I think, is of all of the refs, is the best one that's that third player in the game, because he's very attuned with what's going on in the ring. Sometimes, there's some things that, he'll miss, but that's everybody. But with him, I think that he's the strongest in that aspect, because she really doesn't communicate with the wrestlers, really, I don't think at all during the matches. And you can kind of tell.
My only thing with Bryce is he's got to calm down. Bryce just doesn't. He does. He just got to calm down. He's trying to be a star as a part of it, and that's not the whole point. Yeah. But let's see. Jericho, after the match, says that he's going to break up the inner circle if Sammy and MJF don't get along. Do you guys think they're actually going to break up the inner circle?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
says yeah.
I don't think I'd. No, I'm like, I'd want them to. I think it's kind of run its course, but
I definitely feel like it's stale.
Yep.
Graham, what do you think?
Overall, the match itself, first off, I don't think they're going to break up. I think this is just a. Now, they're not going to break up, but is someone going to get kicked out? I think maybe this is like because the Sammy MJF is coming to a head. I don't know what might happen there, but they're not break up, but I think someone might be essentially sacrificed for the good of the group. But going back to the match, though, just a couple of things. Like, Jericho is still going. I mean, he went along with the flux capacitor off the top rope, like the flip and everything. Like, just Jericho still knows what he's doing. He still has it. I love how people still sing the song, like his theme song, like Judas. Like, it's just it's one of those Walter-esque theme songs that you're just going to sing with it, and then that's it there. Also, for a lot of flack that the good guys usually get of getting distracted, or like, oh, someone's theme music went off and they're not paying attention to the pin or something. That how Kazarian, when Ortiz jumped up on the apron, he didn't break the walls of his version of the Boston Crab walls of Jericho to be like, and push him off the ring. He held on to Jericho and didn't get distracted by someone being on the ring. So I found that very refreshing, because usually the good guy in the match or good girl in the match gets distracted and it costs them the match or something. So I really like that level of detail there.
Yeah, that's good. That was a good moment for sure.
Yeah.
And I think
Kaz
Kaz
is
is
great.
tremendous. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Looking good. I don't think him and CD, I don't think they've looked this good in a long time. I mean, they're really looking, they're probably like almost at like when they were in their prime at ROH.
Yeah.
And that's how good I think they're looking.
Yeah. Oops, Splinter Fox agreed with Amanda for the first time tonight, saying Frankie is a boss. Let's have a drink to that.
Yeah, let's drink to that. Wow. No, Kaz is the best. Like, I love SCU.
Amanda goes, never mind, I hate him.
I can't hate Frankie. Come on. Kaz is amazing.
No, he's great. Actually, we just ordered a bunch. I got it in for me and Kev for Christmas this year. I got us a variety pack of American Rebel cigars, which are Cody and Kaz's cigar brand. So me and him are going to split them by a fire, 6 feet apart.
Nice. I wonder how they are, because I don't know anyone who's had one.
I've had most. I've had them. I had them at StarCast.
Were they actually enjoyable?
They were surprisingly good.
Oh, okay.
Because I expected it to be like a mediocre cigar, and I like mediocre and cheap cigars. I really do. I'm not a pricey cigar type of person. I'm all like, hey, what's this? Because I started smoking cigars with a couple of really close friends of mine who I've lost, and they were always about basically the cheapest thing they can find. It was Milwaukee's Best and Acid cigars. You know what I mean? And so they would have Black and Milds if they could find them. Like, they weren't the type to be going to a nice cigar shop and finding something nice. So I learned basically off of like acids and moon trance and thought, oh, this is delightful, and it's like, it's a low end thing, but it's nice. There's a niceness to it. And so I have had really nice cigars since then, because I got into cigars and used to have a humidor and stuff. And yeah, the middle of the road ones I think are absolutely good. And so I was expecting it to be really middle of the road. And I was really surprised by, one, how potent it was, and two, how smooth it was. There was like no bite to it. It was, I mean, I want to say it was vanilla, but in the nicest way, just like a smooth thing. And I've tried most of them. We actually had a smoke along on one episode. If you go back to one of the older episode ones, we did an outside episode where we actually reviewed, I think, Double or Nothing. At Matt Brown's house, where Clump had his first cigar, and it was an American Rebel. Isn't that right?
Yes. And then I got in my car, and I had not eaten that day, and I went to get Whataburger, and I threw up like 6 times in the car.
Oh no! I don't feel great.
I don't feel good.
Yeah, no. I've always been curious because I do enjoy a cigar now and then, and I was curious, and I didn't know of anybody who had actually smoked them because the people I know who had gotten them didn't smoke them. So I was curious.
Nice. I'll send you a link because where they're selling them out of now is different than where they used to, so it's actually at a better price, more reasonable price.
Oh,
for me.
Okay.
I don't say reasonable because of the value, but reasonable is something I could budget.
Yeah, it's nothing like, oh my god, I need to, So.
Appropriately cheap. We'll call it that.
There you go. I like that. I like that terminology.
All right. Well, it's a dick way to say it, but I'm in. Let's do it. But I didn't mean to go off on a tangent about American Rebel, but I am a fan of the product there. Was there anything else? I mean, I didn't think Jericho looked good in this match. I don't know what Grim's talking about, but if he liked it, I'm in. And then I thought Kaz looked tremendous, and I thought all the Schmaz stuff was weird. I think here's my thing. I wonder, do you think Jericho's going to break up the Inner Circle so he can tag with MJF, and they can go for the tag titles? Does that just piss off everybody? Is everyone pissed now? What happened? Is everyone frozen?
Huh?
I like frozen on my side. Oh, no. Clump's there. My app froze. Clump, is everyone there?
I'm here.
It's still recording.
I know, but we look at the screen. It looks like we lost Amanda and Graham walked away.
Oh. Grim did walk away.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right. Well, let's see if anybody messages me. But Clump,
Yeah, what's up?
what do you think about the idea of MJF and Jericho just being a full-time tag team?
I think it's going that way. I don't frankly like the idea because I think I see positives and negatives to it. Positives, I think MJF he's got the ring, but I think he needs a belt at some point, and sooner rather than later. However, that said, I don't think them together is a benefit because it's just putting these two talents who are singles together, and it's just like all that they're doing is sucking time away from other performers,
Yeah, 100%. And I also don't like them together as a duo. I don't think that their TV stuff together has been very good.
Yeah.
I'm frozen on my side as far as my app.
I exist.
Yeah, you exist.
Sorry about that.
No, man is back.
Howdy ho, Neighborina.
No.
But my app stuff's crashed, so I don't know what chat says.
Let me know when
Why is it so warm?
We're gonna catch up on the chat real quick as Amanda settles back in. Go ahead.
Why is it so
You
warm?
don't like anything in AEW. I notice all the time you don't.
Winter came and left.
It's a shame, but it's your choice not to like something. And TP Poker says, "Hello, friends."
TP Poker. I like a lot of what's going on in AEW. I don't like the Elite, I think, is the problem. I really like Kaz. I really like SCU. All of them involved in there. I really like what's going on. I like what Mox is doing. I like Darby. I'm into Hobbs, Starks, the whole FTW faction.
When you say the Elite, you don't like the Elite.
Mm-hmm.
Are you referring to the trio of the Bucks and Kenny?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't interest me. I don't find them interesting or compelling or particularly good on the mic. So they don't grab me. But I do like... No. I liked Hangman Page, but I feel like his gimmick is really weird right now. This whole, I'm a drunk.
Little bit.
It's been weird.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, honestly, I know it's controversial, but his savior really is going to be Marty Scurll coming around. And that would actually...
if that happened, I'd be interested.
I want it to happen. I thought it was happening. But, you never know. You never know.
There is no Elite anymore. Yeah.
Well, yeah. There's always going to be those three. But the Bucks got what they wanted. Kenny's got what he wants. I guess. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Well, I mean, I guess I might as well, as long as we're talking about the Elite, right? So the Young Bucks have the tag titles, and Kenny has the world title now. Spoiler alert. I'm seeing a lot of weird back and forth online, which, by the way, cracks me up because I think both sides are overreacting. But about how Kenny booked himself as the champion, and other people saying Tony Khan books everything. You're an idiot if you think Kenny would ever book himself that way. And then other people saying like no promotion with any credence, whatever, make their own EVPs a champion. This is awful. I think both sides are being absolutely ridiculous.
yeah.
I also think that someone even said like it's unprecedented what Kenny and the Young Bucks are doing by making themselves champions and also running a company. I'm like, does Dusty Rhodes not exist in your mind historically? Or even like Flair was booking that region, or Jerry Lawler for that matter? It's happened before a number of times, because what it comes down to is what do the fans want and who are your bigger stars? Who are people wanting to see and clamoring to see with the title? I think Omega and
I broke my shoulder.
Young Bucks are absolutely fan
Wrong way.
favorites. What?
I said, yeah, who do you want with the title? I broke my shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't think there's anything wrong with them being champions. I actually was surprised it took this long to get Kenny to the championship title. But I'm also
Exactly.
I'm not bothered by it. I'm not like thrilled like, oh my God, this is what the company needs. It's just like, okay, cool. This is a good progression. I like the story that's going with it. I'm not digging Kenny Omega as a character, but I can recognize the fact that a lot of people are.
Yeah.
He said Triple H, hello. How many times has he held the title, married to the boss's daughter? But supposedly he doesn't book himself. And at the same time, I don't care about that either. Just like I said, I don't care that Moxley and Young Bucks are EVPs and have the title. But I do like that people are trying to make that comparison, saying Triple H can be a champion, but Moxley can. Or Moxley's a champion in AEW. Fans love it, but they hate Triple H for ever being a champion. And personally, from my perspective, I don't give shit what they're doing in the back. I just care about the story in the front, you know?
Yeah. Give us a good story. Don't make it weird.
Yeah.
And things like that. Because I think, I don't know. I mean, it's weird to see that it took this long for everyone to get what they needed. And I get it. Now, like the Bucks, do I see them holding the titles very long? No, I don't.
I don't know. So a lot of people are giving them a ton of credit for, quote, making stars out of the entire roster before putting themselves on top. But does that, for argument's sake, are you just building a group of people who you think will look like bigger stars, with regardless of the fact that you hadn't established yourself as a star yet? The fact that you're building a roster to keep your thumb on? I mean, if we make these people look good enough and we put ourselves on top, then we look even better. Were you really building the roster to make the roster look good? Were you building the roster to make it look like something that sitting on top of meant more for? I think is the argument. Graham, what do you think?
Yeah.
I'll tell you much. Oh, in terms of the tag title picture with AEW, hey, listen, I may hit up Max to get a rap going. You know, that flow was pretty good.
Yeah.
For that backstage segment. Gotta tell you, gotta get the what is it called? Where you pay for? Come on. Oh, a claim, right. The cameo. That's it. Get a cameo from Max. Come on, just do like some type of rap or something like that. But no, I like the I like it again. Just tag team wrestling. I mean, I just like how we need to start building up teams. You need to start building up storyline. You need to get some character in there, right? So just overall, I mean, yes, it's great. The Bucks are the champs right now, but now you need to build people up to their level, or at least start building that story.
Yeah. Let me see. Omega, or Splinter Fox saying in the chat, Omega's only controlling the women's division. Says he finds talent that helps them, like the Bucks are helping the tag division, but the final say is Tony. Which, I mean, for one, I don't super care about what's happening backstage. Two, that's all a lot of like random stuff that we're hearing from these random dirt sheets anyways. And three, the biggest story that all the dirt sheets always say, and that Tony says, is that he has the final say. He takes a lot of input from the wrestlers around him. So by saying like, hey, look, I only control the women's division, but I told Tony it'd be a good idea to make me champion, doesn't seem like an impossible conversation to happen. I don't care if it did happen or not, to be quite frank. It doesn't bother me. I'm not bothered by the idea of someone twisting the ear of the owner to make the final decision in your favor. I think that every wrestler probably would do that given the opportunity, right? I mean, that shit happens in WWE too. People constantly go to Vince McMahon with ideas and stuff. Let's do this, let's do that. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I do think that Tony's probably more easily influenced by the talent than a Vince McMahon might be. But I don't know if that's for the better or for the worse. I don't know yet. We'll see how it plays out. Clump, what are you thinking?
No, I get that. I don't know, man. I really do struggle with Tony Khan in the company. Like, I feel like, I mean, as time goes on, I feel like more and more we hear this persistent criticism of Vince, and yeah, it's valid, but fuck, we need to throw Tony Khan in the same breath, because while it may not be an audience of one that you're playing to with like Vince, it's rather
It's a one in Tony.
No, it's an audience of whatever you want. Tony thinks it's cool as long as you reference 90s ECW or WCW.
That's true too. How much of the stuff have we heard that they're not clearing with Tony? I mean, Miro and Jericho have talked about it, and Moxie talked about it too. Oh yeah, I don't even clear stuff with them. I just do it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
So
yeah,
all that's to say that none of us are back there. None of us fucking know. Amanda, what were you saying?
They're all names. I mean, like, if Will Hobbs were to go out and, I don't know, I'm just throwing Will Hobbs out there, but if he were to go out and, I don't know, like, decides to, you know what, I don't like this Team Taz bullshit, and fucking, you know, I don't know, like, gives, you know, Taz one of those huge Germans that he does, and not tell Tony, no, he'd be out in a heartbeat. But these are guys that are, their names, so they can do whatever the hell they want. They have carte blanche.
And you don't think that Kenny and Young Bucks are names?
Well, they could do whatever they want. I'm sure they do. They have the, you know, they can do whatever they want.
That's all I'm saying.
Don't click.
Because I think that there's a lot of people trying to talk about politics backstage, and we've all heard just enough for none of us to really know what the fuck's happening back there.
No. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What you should know, what we should know is, you know, these guys are taken care of, and, you know, that's it. You know, and they're very conscious about, you know, social distancing.
Yeah.
However, they need to get the mask thing on. But anyways, but they're that's the only things we need to know. And, you know.
Yeah. Are they safe? Are they being taken care of?
Yeah. Are they being taken care of? Looks like they have a good medical team. I mean, they have all of the. Yeah. And they have all of the resources from, you know, the Jags, their, you know, all of their, you know, equipment and stuff. Like, you see those guys doing, you know, cryotherapy, and you know, they're doing cupping back there. I mean, they've got all of that. So
yeah, I think that's the coolest fucking thing.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. So they're getting taken care of, and that should be the important thing. Is these guys, guys and gals, are getting well taken care of.
But I love that the internet wrestling community has decided that they're going to fight it out about how people talk to Tony backstage. And I talk a lot of shit about Tony on here because it's funny. Because I don't know. No one knows. None of us know. So I make jokes about it because it's the narrative that's out there, and it's funny to me because it's so stupid. We all pretend like, well, this is what Kenny would have said. Oh, Kenny only does this. Trust me. Tony would never I don't fuck. No, you don't know. None of us are in any of those conversations. All we do know is what's presented on stage, as it were, in the ring, and what they do. They have been presented as EVPs on the TV, so I'm willing to accept that as part of the reality of it, which does make certain things a little bit fuzzy when you watch, like, well, don't you have a say in who wins? But all of that aside, I think we got to Kenny in a logical, good way. I also think that I also think it's hysterical the amount of people who are saying, like, never saw it coming. What? When the tournament was announced, everyone, I thought, went ahead and said, oh, here's how Kenny wins. Like, that's been like an ongoing thing, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Britt Baker versus, like, well, I mean, you mentioned that promo. Did anybody else want to say anything about that promo? I thought Young Bucks came out pretty bad. The Acclaimed came out pretty neat, but it was a little weird. The rap.
What's the association?
I was like, what's going on? But yeah.
But the association with TH2.
Yeah. Why am I supposed to know who they are already? It was a little weird, but I didn't hate it. Curious
You
to see
don't
what it
watch
goes to.
internet wrestling. You don't watch internet wrestling. That's why you don't know who they are.
Oh, have they been established on BTE?
No, they're a mainstay of Dark.
Oh, yeah. I don't watch Dark.
Yeah.
All Stars.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dark's is
Yeah, see, you don't watch
their tryout show. I
Yeah.
don't watch tryouts.
You don't watch that. You don't watch
Yeah.
AEW Starks, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
In some
Britt
countries.
Baker versus Layla Hirsch. What did you guys think of that?
Well, I like Layla Hirsch.
Yeah.
I
didn't realize how short she
Britt-
was.
Yeah.
She
I'm
looked
like,
really
whoa,
short in
dude.
this one.
Is
But
she like not
she does
over
look like
5
an
feet?
athlete. I don't
Yeah.
think she is. I think she's got to be like 4'10", to be honest, just looking at it.
Yeah, she's
But-
tiny.
But I think she's a legit amateur wrestler, though, so she looks like a badass. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Britt Baker. A lot of people don't, but I just think that the women needed a good heel character that's not Brandy, and
Yeah.
so Britt does this very well. And I'm not gonna lie, I love seeing Rebel, because Rebel just makes it complete. So
yeah.
no complaints there.
Yeah,
Although
I was kind of
what
mad on the
happened
match.
after the match, yeah, that I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
Thunder Rosa
Lord.
comes out, so we're going to see some more Thunder Rosa stuff. I'm excited about that. I don't know. I guess the next real big thing that happens here is that you have the tag match, Cody and Darby against Hobbs and Starks, which was an okay match. Bunch happened. Darby won with a shoulder up. But then the big news, I don't know if Clump had anything you wanted to say about this right before, because he's got to get going here in a minute.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, guys, I got to jump out. But no, yeah, we saw Sting, which is
Yep.
cementing that this is 1990s WCW. I am upset that it's not Sting as a surfer, because that would have been fucking amazing, and I would love to see the return of a man called Sting as a theme song. Man
I thought
called
also
Sting.
it could have been neat and quite the callback, because they really didn't touch on it at all in WWE. See if he came out in all red and black. If he did or if he came out in like gold and black. Like, did it just enough different but the same where you're all like, oh yeah, because it would not look just like the last time we saw him in WWE.
If he came out in gold and black and Goldust came out and just beat the shit out of him, I would be very... Get the fuck out of my game, piece of shit!
Yeah. Fuck you, I can't believe this.
Fuck you, Steve!
Yeah. Just comes out in his blue and black, just like, dude. Or Dustin comes out in the red and black, Sting's out there in the gold and black, and they look at each other and go, what the fuck happened, man?
This is some bullshit.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
Did we, like, it's like that Spider-Man meme where they're pointing at each other?
Yeah, I want them to like be, walk out both on paint, just like, fuck is this? Just stare at each other for a good second or two, and then just like walk away, but like keep like looking back, like I don't like this shit.
I saw, because we talked about it on the last one, I saw that and I immediately went, WCW 2021's got to be pretty pissed right now.
Yeah,
There is
Lots of
no
people-
way they're not pissed. Yeah.
With that though, I'm gonna bounce out, guys. Y'all have a fantastic night.
All right,
Yep.
Clump.
Talk to you later, Clump.
Bye,
Grim,
Clump.
what did you think about the return of Sting, the icon, as Tony Schiavone says, it's Sting!
That was all right. Just kidding. No. Really
It's
though, just a you know what Sting is going to be Sting. I think I brought this up a couple weeks ago. It's like when Kiss puts on their makeup. They even though they're older dudes, they just are badass rock stars. Same thing
Yeah.
with Sting. I just put the face paint on, hold the black bat. That's all. It just, you have to cheer it. You just have to. Although I do want the one talent or the one magical power I want from Sting is that when I turn off the lights in a room, that all the bad people that I don't like disappear magically also.
Yeah, they all just
Because-
jumped out.
Yep, the inner circle just literally fell out of the ring, like just they Bray Wyatted right out of the ring, and just it was up, just like Darby and Cody and all that, like just everyone in the ring. So that was cool. But I like how Sting just stared everybody down. I'm serious. I'm here. And then just right away after the commercial break, just announcing that he signed the multi-year deal with AEW. So just saying, hey, this wasn't just a one-off for winter is coming. Like, no, it's here to stay.
Yeah, a multi-year deal. It makes me think that they signed him up till the end of their TNT contract, just because, until renewals. Why would you do otherwise? Let's see. Splinterbox does mention Sting shirt broke records on Pro Wrestling Tees, which is cool. Also, he wants them to sign Lindsay Snow. I want anyone to sign Lindsay Snow, to be honest. She's fantastic. Kaiju Power. Put her anywhere. I don't care what company. Someone pay her a bunch of money. No, she's popped up everywhere, but no one's like locked her down.
They need
I just want someone to throw a bunch of money at her and let her fucking go wild. So I agree.
Oh, yeah.
But here's the thing. This is me being petty. I'm gonna be petty for a second because you guys know I like pettiness. Sting shows up and makes an AEW shirt like everyone else has ever done. They all show up and immediately have a shirt. Brandy goes out there, cuts a promo, and they go, let's put a shirt out about the promo. Sting's shirt sold out. They're sold more in 24 hours than any other pro wrestling tee has ever sold. For one, it's a slap in the face to us. We have shirts on prowrestlingtees.com/wrestlingontherocks. Guys, get your Pointless Aggression t-shirts, your Drinking Buddy shirts. Show them that we're more popular than Sting. I think that's a fact. We're more fun to drink with, maybe. Let's see. The entrance for all matches. Splinter Fox says, did we finally agree on something? Oh my God, this is weird. The Sting shirt is badass. It is a really nice shirt. I do like it a lot. I do think that when the argument is constantly made that, watch AEW, Kenny's a star, Young Bucks are stars, they're making stars over there. Tony Khan knows how to make a star better than anybody. I've been hearing these arguments. I've heard them. And then one dude from WCW in 1996 shows up and outsells all of their t-shirts. Okay. Let's calm down with all this star talk. We've got a really weird gauge for stardom nowadays. I'll give you Sting's a fucking legend, Hall of Famer, amazing. My favorite part about AEW, they have more active wrestlers as WWE Hall of Famers than the WWE has.
Truth.
But I'm kidding, I'm jesting. I think it's really cool for Sting to be doing something. I think this is a dude who loves pro wrestling so much. I've met him, and it seemed he was super business, for one. He wanted to make sure everyone got exactly what they wanted out of everything. He wanted to make everybody happy. And I think it's tremendous that he can be back in the business doing something the way he wants to, because I do also understand that those Legends contracts are very, I don't want to say limiting as far as like what they can do, but they're definitely limited in the amount of appearances and stuff that they will do, right? A lot of them have a lot of freedoms on it, and I don't understand contracts, but I see them pop up all over the place. It's really cool that he can be active again doing stuff, because, I mean, if he still feels he's got something left in the tank and he still feels that he can put on matches or do something to help another wrestler, it's going to be fun for him, and he's going to have a good time, and that part I'm excited for more than anything. I think it's a little early for a lot of the conversations and arguments I've been seeing where people are saying, well, he's definitely going to be a manager. There's definitely no way he's wrestling. He's definitely not going to win a title. He's definitely going to be promoting this person or that. There's a lot of definitive answers people are giving on a thing that we have no fucking clue for. I'm here for it. I want to see what it is, but I'm going there with no guesses, no definitive, this is what I want or what I expect. All I want is for Sting to have a really good time and get paid well. Amanda, what do you think about the return of Sting?
Honestly, I was a little bummed because I didn't think that was going to be the surprise. But
100% same way. I thought it was Marty.
That were like, oh my God, she was right because of the bird, and then I was like, no. But here's my thing: is as long as he gets it's done safe, if he does get in the ring and it's safe, I'm cool with. It's very exciting to see. Oh God, no, the one who's gonna get no. The one I think that had probably a big boner was Janela, thinking, oh my God, Spring Break 5. That'd be kind of cool. But but I think it's really awesome to see that. I don't know if I feel like it's kind of like, is this your pull for ratings, or what is
Yes.
there's something behind it, because Tony Khan does not make moves without something legitimately like solid behind it. So
Do
I
you
wonder.
think? Because I feel like here's the other thing: is a lot of people are talking a lot of definitives about what he will or won't do, and the only thing I can say that I can feel confident in saying is that most people have come into the company without a plan and without a vision. And it appears that most people come in and they just kind of figure it out for the first few weeks and then just go a direction. Or if you're Matt Cardona, you just leave. Like,
Well, they
it
didn't
just,
even give him an opportunity. It was just more of, hey, come on in, and then that was
yeah.
it with it. Whereas someone like Matt Seidel, okay, obviously this is a guy that for a long time, yeah, he kind of was blackballed because of his, his marijuana use. Funny that we, look back on it now like, really, that's why you guys shelved him, and that's why he couldn't do New Japan and was in like jail in Hawaii for like a month or wherever he
Yeah.
was. I don't think it was Hawaii, but it's wherever he was. But anyways, but it's really interesting that like with him, I think that trajectory is, I think that he's probably going to be used to kind of help some of those younger flippy guys do it well. Because even his style's evolved too when you watch him. Because I'm like, wow, that's a total different Matt Sydal that we've seen. So I think some people have certain, they're coming in with a purpose. I think with him, this was a guy that got fucked over. The guy who was actually really good and on TV and people liked, that got fucked over. But, that was his vice. But then again, it's like, now who doesn't on that roster smoke?
Yeah.
So
with Sting coming in, though, he comes in and he stares down Arn and Taz and Cody, and then he almost kisses Darby.
Yeah, that was weird. That was weird sexual tension.
There was a lot of sexual tension with Papa Sting and Baby Darby.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny also that Splinter Fox does say that he likes AEW because there's not very many leaks. And I won't say that there was a leak, but if you've been listening to this episode 1 for the past month, I've been saying Sting's coming to AEW for a month now. I literally booked the whole thing right before Full Gear and say, keep your eyes out, Sting's coming to AEW. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yep. Heard it here.
Here's the thing. I can make up shit like everybody else, and I make it up based off of T-shirts. And yet I was more correct than the dirt sheets because I was watching T-shirt sales, because I like to get my shit cheap. I'm watching 2-for-1 sales, 50% sales, and I'm like, where'd all the Sting merch go? Where's all the Sting merch? It's all gone off WWE Shop.
Yep.
Then I started remembering those old interviews, and I thought, oh, Tony Khan scooped up Sting because they're real quiet about it. Then Rob Schamberger opens up SchambergerLabs.com, where you can get all the prints and original art pieces and everything, and he's fantastic. He puts out all of his select series. Real strange. All of them suddenly missing Sting. 4-piece series, suddenly 3-piece set. So that's really specific. Why would they quietly do that if it weren't for the fact that Sting has clearly signed another contract with someone else?
Clearly.
I've been saying it for a goddamn month. You can watch the WWE Shop and get just as much inside information as all the other people who make that shit up. That's what makes me a hack wrestling journalist. You heard it here first. I'll make it up right here.
What's your theory on Marty Scurll then, with him promoting like the rest of his Villain Enterprises jerseys and getting rid of them?
Yeah,
and
he's doing something.
Really pimping his merch. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like there's no reason why he wouldn't go to AEW, because that's where all his friends are. But I also think that would create a fucking fire online for AEW. But
well,
I also honestly, honest to God, I don't think that anybody in the Elite has Tony Khan's best interest at heart. So I think they would convince him to bring him in.
Well, the only reason why they wouldn't bring him in is because of the incident, and I'm not going to bring that up again. Everyone's going to believe what they want to believe. I have my own belief with it, and I'm just going to say this now, that I feel, and after, like, I'm a very big Marty fan. A lot of people know that about me. and I know Marty, and known him for a while. And I had to ask him when it happened because that was going to sway if I was going to be a fan or not, to be quite honest.
Now connected to DOS.
And shut up, Alexa. Jesus. So she's, but what he told me, I believed him, and it's not bullshit. I mean, I've hung out with this man before. I mean, in other settings, and I made my judgment off of that. And there are a lot of people who it's not as bad as these other ones. It's just there's people in the internet community that want to make it bad. So yeah, it can be controversial, but at the end of the day, you got to think there's still a lot of people that are out there that have a pass. Why can't he have a pass? That's all.
And I also think that I think that the interesting bit about the AEW fan community is they're really, really not forgiving or interested in anything other than exactly what they want. Splinter does say he's saying definitively that Marty is still under contract with ROH. He feels for Purrazzo during all of this. Is Purrazzo with Marty?
No, he broke up with her a long time ago.
Oh,
I don't feel for Deanna. She's moved on. She's
doing great too.
But,
she's champion over there. But ROH has significantly distanced themselves from Marty, and without being insider on it all,
it did fire him.
I mean, I guess
he was
just
terminated.
that. I was just gonna say that without being an insider-ish, just from the way that they distanced themselves, it wouldn't be a shock to find out that they didn't want to continue paying a guy they weren't going to utilize. Clearly.
No, but I think that he cannot do anything until after Final Battle. I think that's because the contracts all usually will end at Final Battle. They don't have that 90-day compete thing, but I think they probably told him, look, you can't go anywhere. And even though, bye, see ya, that till after Final Battle. Because right now, ROH is in big trouble anyway, because they have, I think 7 of their big people are, their contracts are up. And it's already been said that 2 of them will not be returning. And that'd be Roosh and his brother, Dragon Lee.
Yeah. Well,
we'll see.
We'll see how that plays out. But I did think, because of the way that video package was, I thought this was Marty. And then it was Sting. I was all like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't pissed, but I was like, oh shit, Marty showing up could be a huge thing. Sting showing up is not a huge thing, but at the same time, here's something I think that people are not paying attention to. Everyone thinks that every move is the next big thing. And Graham, I want to know what you think about this, because I said this earlier. People are losing their shit like it's the next big thing, that this changing the shift of the powers, that everything's going to be different now. For one, their ratings popped up to 950,000, which is great, which means a lot of people turn their channel because NXT's ratings are around 650. I'm not a ratings guy, but I do wonder what those are at. I'm going to be more curious in the next 2 weeks, because you had that many people flip the channel and watch. Are they going to always flip the channel for Sting? Here's my thing. When Sting was in TNA, no one fucking flipped the channel. No one gave a shit that Sting was in TNA. That doesn't mean Sting is less of a star. It means it takes more than a star to make a company. I think everyone's freaking out about it. Like it's this huge downfall of WWE that Sting showed up. And I think that we, as fans and the businesses as they are, have gone way past the idea of a single star making a company. And I also think that when Hogan went to WCW, because people always talk about the turn being the NWO, right? Well, the turn of NWO, Hogan was in WCW for like 3 years at that point. When he showed up in WCW, the numbers didn't flip. Not everyone flipped the channel and said, well, now I'm watching WCW because that's where Hogan is, and I only watch where Hogan is. No one cared until Hogan flipped and became a heel. And that was on the heels of Nash and Hall coming in, which people bought into because of kayfabe. They thought it was an honest-to-God invasion of WWE because they wouldn't say the guys' names or why they're here. And that's all blown out of the water now, too. Nobody thinks any of this shit's real anymore. Everyone thinks everything's a fucking work. So back then it was the argument of, is this a work or is this not? And that's why people were watching. And then, there's a bunch more on top of it. But as an industry and as fans, we're all way past that. So now we see Sting and we go, oh, I wonder how Tony Khan will utilize him in the next storyline. Yeah. That is not the same as when Nash and Hall showed up in WCW. Grim, what do you think?
totally agree with that assessment in terms of the evolution of the wrestling fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even going back to even let's say Pat Patterson's day. Let's bring it around, right? Where heels and good guys and bad guys wouldn't drive in the same car together. They wouldn't be caught in the same picture together. They wouldn't be like, they just, they live their character outside of the business, right? Same thing, even going to more recently with The Undertaker. He was always the dead man outside. He never went to Hall of Fame. He was never on the red carpet. Like, he lived the character all the way through and everything like that, right? So, I mean, I think it's actually kind of on both sides of the fence. You have the fans, and then you have the wrestlers and the performers. It's how much are you letting the fans in, quote unquote, right? So as we're going through the 60s, 70s, 80s, even into the 90s, or talking about the Outsiders and Hogan's Turn and all of that, the fans were the business was still guarded. Like, there wasn't the internet, there wasn't social media of, two guys that are going to fight each other this Saturday are hiking a mountain together. Like, just, you're giving more access to the fans. You're giving more of a vehicle for the fans to get into the private lives. Like, it's just, as time has gone on, and that's what I mean. The fans have evolved with how they think because of how much the curtain's been pulled back all these years.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to correct real quick. I said 950. I just saw it's 913 versus 658, which I think is great because it does look like there's always been like a 150 to 200,000 margin that just seems to kind of be flipping back and forth. And that does look to me like a bunch of them said, guys, Sting's over here. And they all went, okay, I guess I'll watch Sting. So they all wanted to see that, but where does it go from here? And was it Splinter Fox says TNA wasn't on major TV, which is true, yeah, but WCW was, and that wasn't a big deal then either. And TNA and Impact got on cable at some point, didn't they? And then Splinter Fox says, oh yeah, that was killing the magic of wrestling nowadays, the damn internet. And that's what I mean. So as excited as I am for Sting, and as much as I think it's really cool he's there for multiple years, I don't think this is the savior of AEW. I don't think this changes the landscape of wrestling. This makes for really promising content. And I think that is actually more important than either of those other two things. Yeah. Because, I mean, I guess Sting got a little bit weird and loopy in TNA. But I feel like that one of my concerns about everyone turning their ears to, like, the main guys, like Jericho, is that I'm like, well, Jericho just wants to do comedy now. He just thinks he's funny. And I wish that some of these guys would be taken a little bit in a different way. I think a guy like Sting could have been incredible for that locker room if the locker room is listening. And from what I've heard on certain podcasts from people who work there, not everyone's listening. And so I think it's a huge opportunity and there's a huge projection here of possible amazingness. But we got to see. Let's see. AEW does not need any savior. Joker Sting was gold. But yeah, maybe. I didn't see a lot of it, and it wasn't bad. I don't remember not liking it. It also didn't, like, make TNA this thing that everyone's talking about.
One other point, too. You're talking about the moment of, people turning the dial, to see Sting. Well, I think where the success is going to be of keeping the fans that turned over, oh, Sting's here, like that pop moment, if you will, is the storyline from here. Like what is his piece of the puzzle, so to speak? Because, all right, let's go back to the more infamous one where, the butts in the seat comment, WCW about, oh, Mick Foley's going to win the championship, and 600,000 people switched over to Raw to watch Foley win the championship. And then that ended the 83 weeks in a row and turned the entire tide of the Monday Night Wars, because Foley was like that whole storyline against the corporation and facing against the corporate champion, The Rock, and Austin helping out and things. It's the story. It's the storyline that we saw the evolution of Mick Foley for all those years. That people were like, oh, Foley's going to win the championship? Flip over. The same thing with Sting. He has this amazing career So of course people are going to be like, oh, this is Sting. Let's turn over to the channel and let's go see Sting. But now you got to hold on to the people that turned over to see Sting, and where does his story go from here?
Yeah. I think the other thing that's
Absolutely.
important to note is you got 200 and some thousand people to turn the channel. And what did you do at that time? You then went on to promote Impact Wrestling. Interesting.
No, but to touch back on the whole thing is, I thought it was very interesting on Twitter how a lot of people were like, oh my God, every single person. I think I was probably one of the only people who was not like, oh my God, Sting. I wasn't. I was like, oh, okay. But people I never expected to be, oh my God, Sting, right? It was like the popular thing to do on Twitter is, let's be excited for Sting. I'm kind of sick of this. Let's do the popular thing on Twitter. I'm really sick of that movement. But I think that it'll be very interesting is what's going to happen, because the stare downs were very interesting because they were very distinct, and it has me curious.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I was also like flipping mad because fucking certain people weren't pinned, and I'm waiting for that to come into fruition. But I don't even think that's going to even be anything that's bitched about. But it should be, because Ricky was not pinned.
Well, I mean, if
And
Eddie
I
Kingston
also-
can drone on for a fucking month about not being eliminated from the Battle Royal.
Yeah, but also, to be fair too, also, like, sorry, Will. I mean, love you to death. I love both those dudes. He should have taken the pin and not Ricky. To be quite honest. So I don't know what was up with that one. I don't know.
Well, I think Ricky could have taken the pin from Cody, and it would have made a lot of sense too. I don't know. Maybe we get to a Darby. I mean, Darby and Cody and Ricky have been going back and forth. Maybe that's why I just wasn't as impressed by that. Is we're just like, oh, I thought we'd moved on, but maybe we haven't.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It was very interesting, and I love how, oh yeah, here's Team Taz and Brian Cage, and Brian Cage didn't come out. I'm like, where the fuck did Brian go? Is he taking a dump? Did he eat too much protein? What's going on? Yeah, I was like, what's going on here? What happened to Brian? And then he shows up, and and I'm like, oh, okay.
Building a birdhouse.
Or whatever. I don't know. But it was very interesting because again, like with the refs, you've got all of this, and and it'll be very, very interesting to see, because honestly, they're not that I think the TNT title needs to be defended every week. If you're on TNT and that's the title, it should be. And I don't get that. Like, is it because it's on Darby and that's why, and no one's watching turning the dial for Darby? I know I wouldn't.
Maybe.
No offense.
And
I mean, I like Darby, but I wouldn't.
I was bummed that it stopped having the open challenge. Splinter Fox thinks they're afraid of burying Powerhouse Hobbs, as they say, but I also don't think that.
Hobbs.
I don't think that one loss is a burial. I really don't. Which is always my joke too at this point now online. Every time somebody loses, I was like, "Oh my God, Moxley's buried. He'll never work again." He lost one match. He'll be fine.
No, but unless you're pushing the storyline to be Ricky's number 5. Okay, yeah. If you're pushing the storyline to make it there's some dissension in Team Taz, then I totally I get it. But
but they weren't even utilizing the Sting thing. They just dumped right out. I will say, as soon as Sting showed up, I did say out loud, I was like, oh yeah, the battle for Darby's custody is on. We are getting a custody battle for Darby Allin. And I'm calling it. I'm telling you right now, you're going to have Moxley, Sting, Cody, triple threat match, ladder on a pole, Darby in a shark cage holding his own custody papers. Boom, it's going to happen. It's going to happen at Double or Nothing.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Double, you're going to wait that long?
Go ahead, Graham. I don't know.
I was gonna say, couple comments about the match itself. Darby Allin gives me a little bit of Jeff Hardy vibes. Kind of a flyer, kind of like a loner, kind of just gives me kind of like that same type of vibe. Really, I feel Jeff Hardy out of him. For Powerhouse Hobbs. He's a believable bad guy. Like he believes who he is. Like he's confident in who he is. Kind of Big E-esque, if you will, like the Dolph Ziggler Enforcer version or the I Need 5 version. So I think he'll be built up very soon. He looks like he could be like a solid character. Hey, did you know that shoulder was up on that pin count? I don't know if we talked about that.
Yeah, definitely up. I think one thing that's weird about Hobbs, here's my only problem with him being heel, is that his story is natural face stuff. He like protected his brother from getting shot, took a bullet for him. Dude's like an all-American wrestler. There's no reason why we shouldn't be cheering for this dude, but I feel like that wrestlers like to be heels because it's easier. It's easier to pretend to be a mean person when you're not a mean person. And I think that if he tried to lean in more to who he really is and to that side, I think people feel too vulnerable. And so I feel like it's the easy way out to be a heel. That's my only problem is I'm like, dude, your storyline is fucking like Kurt Angle's levels of cheer. But he's trying to go that heel route just because it's easy to be mean to people and say I'm an asshole. Okay, well, that roster's filled with people doing the same thing.
Yeah, but here's the issue that I have with Will Hobbs is, and something that I've always thought forever
I like him otherwise.
Is, great person. His story is amazing, but it's like, what does being like? That's his problem. Is it's like, what is being like? What does willpower mean to you? What is like being powerhouse Hobbs? What is that supposed to mean? Like, you don't have any kind of definition of what. You have a great story and everything, and it's awesome. You have it already built, but it's like, why are you like? What are you trying to do with it? It's like, are you asserting yourself to be bad? Yeah, it's easy and it works, but it's like, dude, it can go either way. But it's more of I think there's a different route they could take with him with it instead of this guy's a heel now. No, I mean, honestly, he could be one of these in-between guys, and he's doing it for the money. I mean, that would be more believable of a storyline for me than it would be for, I'm just this badass motherfucker. Yeah, it doesn't work. It's like giving Brian.
It'd work really well.
It doesn't work.
In the idea that, like, hey, I tried to do it. I had a match earlier. I mean, because his first match he lost, I thought, right? Against, like, MJF or something. And then he tries to do something with Mox, and that doesn't pan out. So I could see the character being frustrated, saying, like, I deserve to be at the top, and no one's listening to me. So maybe if I got Taz to yell for me, I can get to where I need to be. I need this to work, and no one's paying attention. So now I brought in. I'm here with these guys, and that would work. And if he was like otherwise, not a dick, but he was forcing his way to the top, that's not a bad way. Splinter Fox had a few things to say about Darby. He says that he thinks Sky should have the TNT title, which, by the way, I think Sky should have the world title. I don't think there's any limits to Scorpio Sky. The first time I saw Scorpio Sky in AEW, I want to say it was at Double or Nothing, I saw him, and I went, that dude's a fucking star. Like, why is he in a tag, like a three-way tag team, and only used half the time? Something about that guy, he could be huge for them. I think they haven't tapped into it. So I don't disagree that he should have the TNT title. I want him to have all the gold. Give him all of them. Give him the TNT, the FTW, the world, and the tag. You can have them all. And he can have both tag belts. He doesn't have to share it with anybody. He just be the tag team champions, like Braun Strowman was. He did say, because Darby is more of a loose cannon than Sammy half the time. He can't wrestle due to getting hurt out of wrestling with the skateboard stuff. Is he really out half the time when he gets injured? I haven't seen many injuries he's been taking for skateboard stuff, but I do think he seems to be doing a lot of ridiculous stunts outside of wrestling, which I think is not smart.
How he normally, it's not smart, and that's how he normally is. Like, I remember when I met Darby at PWG, I was like, I can't watch you wrestle half the time. He was like, why? I said, because you're gonna die on screen. And that's very uncomfortable. I cannot, or I'm going to be in the presence of it and you're going to die. And that's so uncomfortable. But again, like Sammy, he is a reckless guy. Okay.
Yeah.
But
I was even told,
people don't,
not insider information, but they tell him not to do some of the stuff he does, and he does it anyways.
He does it anyway. But also with insider information, he's never hurt another person.
Which is good.
Okay.
He'll hurt himself though.
He'll hurt himself before he'll hurt someone else. But I do know that I know someone that Sammy injured pretty badly or re-triggered an injury, and it was because the
I know
kid's reckless. He's not safe.
The coffin drop he did onto the ring apron to himself was something that a number of people backstage had said not to do, and he did it anyways. Because he just really wanted to do that spot for whatever reason. And I guess do what you're gonna do. But Splinter Fox does say he was on the Darby bandwagon in the beginning, but now he's over it. And he said, I loved him giving Cody the bird the whole match. It was funny, dude. He's such a little shit. I actually drew a picture of Darby Allin. I put it on my Instagram at MarshRef. I tweeted it out at Ref Marsh. Because I do like him. I think he does a lot of stupid shit.
Yeah,
but
he does a lot of stupid shit.
I do like him. He is a little fucking bugger. He does kind of remind me of Beavis and Butthead in the way that like he just keeps giving people the finger, and you're like, okay, man.
There was a lot of giving the finger last night. Cody, Darby, Hobbs.
Yeah,
there's a lot of finger. And a lot of swearing, which I thought was a no-no. But
no, it's a yes. I guess.
That too. I guess so.
It was interesting. Grim, main event. What did you think? So we had 40 minutes left of TV. They gave it a 60-minute time limit, and in the
Wait.
What?
Why was Sting in the middle of the program?
Yeah, producer was pissed that Sting didn't close the show. What do you think about that?
Or open, top or bottom?
Not
somewhere
open.
in the middle.
No, you need that top of the hour.
Yeah.
Was it at the top of the hour? Do you think?
You need that
just right under it.
It was right around the top of the hour. That's why, because it was the channel change hour, is what it was. And it worked. It got a ton of people to flip the channel, where they could then spend the next 40 minutes promoting Impact Wrestling. And Splinter Fox did say, wait, I loved him. Oh, Will gave Cody the bird the whole time.
Yeah.
That's funny.
He did it at least like 10, 20 times. It was hilarious. Every time
That's funny.
you saw Will, okay, there were 3 things that the camera loved last night. The camera loved showing Will Hobbs giving Cody the bird. For some reason, I don't know, the camera would always pan when Ricky was pulling his shorts out of his ass. I was like, whoa, dude, that means you need bigger trunks.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was irritating. And then the other one was, I think there was some other distracting thing that had to do with Darby. But
Darby.
Yeah, there was a lot of Will Hobbs birds.
Here's the thing, though, is as an adult, seeing people give the finger and say the word bitch is not as exciting as it was when I was in high school. In high school, it was so cool to give someone the finger. Yeah. And it was the coolest shit to put the word fuck on a belt buckle.
Yeah.
But I'm an actual adult now who watches TV and enjoys stories and wrestling. And I don't find that stuff as exciting. It's funny. I'll give it a smirk, but I won't go, this is the real shit. Just relax.
Relax.
Yeah.
The first time it was funny. The second time it was funny. The third time I'm like, Will, just go over there and fucking beat knock him out. Shit. What are you doing?
Splinter Fox says, how about this? Bring in Ahmed Johnson to mentor Will Hobbs, dude. That'd be so good. I don't know if you've seen pictures of Ahmed Johnson recently. He's blown up. It'd be so good. You wouldn't recognize. He'd have to wear a shirt that says "I'm Ahmed Johnson" for you to recognize him.
Yeah. Well, you know who Will Hobbs' trainer is, right? His original trainer, who his mentor is, Big Rick.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that could work just fine.
Yeah, Big Rick. He's been under his tutelage for years now. So, because he lives in East Palo Alto as well. I swear to God, next time JR says it's Oakland again, I'm like, dude, someone's going to come put a cap in your ass. You need to be careful.
Yeah.
Big difference
there are
between
lines
Oakland
here.
and East P. Yes, there are lines, and that's a big
real
difference.
Quick, before we roll into the main event, there was a couple things, and Amanda, you brought up, about JR. So, like just looking at the presentation stuff, I like Justin Roberts as the ring announcer. I do, the elongated pronunciations. I liked him. I liked him since he started with like WWE and stuff, and I think he's doing a good job now with announcing people and all. Like I just like that. The commentating table with JR, Excalibur, and Tony. I thought they did good last night. I mean, I know I hear stuff online here or there that JR, he might be over the hill on stuff, or but I think the three of them work well together as a 3-man booth. I think they called the matches pretty good yesterday. What did you guys think overall, just commentary wise, how they not just last night, but like overall, like let's just say for 2020, how's commentary?
Excalibur is the most patronizing, mansplaining, under-talking piece of shit on all of commentary tables in existence in wrestling. If you could remove one person from commentary to make all of wrestling better, it's Excalibur. That piece of shit goes on to say shit like when he was talking about Taz coming out, he goes, "Oh, I asked Taz the other day about why would he attack Cody." And he said because Cody made it personal. He said that it had to do with the fact that Cody brought up Taz's own son, that he trains with him. I saw the fucking promo, dude. And those are literally the words Taz said in the fucking promo. He brought the mic down as though it was real and said, "You've gone too far, Cody. You shouldn't have brought my son into this. You've made this personal." And he walks away and then attacks him. And you had to go fucking ask him and then explain to me why you asked him? Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. He talks down to the audience so much. Fuck that guy. I hate it.
Yeah. Well,
apart from that, the guys are all right. I like them otherwise.
It's the whole PWG, snobbery. That's what it is. I mean,
it is.
Honestly, but I will say that when he has a decent wrestler who will sit and do commentary with him, like he's had, obviously Hero's been on a bunch of them. Chuck Taylor actually is really good on commentary, to be surprised. That Excalibur is not that mansplaining, but I think Excalibur thinks that this is my pedigree, this is where I've come from, that, yeah, you kind of have to be snobby about it. And it grinds me the wrong way. But I get it. Shivani, sometimes I'm like, dude, just don't speak. Sometimes when you have just a comment here and there, it's great,
Yeah.
because it's always something offbeat. JR, sometimes I think I don't know. I'm like, are you drunk? Are you just not caring? But last night, I'm like, whoa, you had some way out there dingers. Like one of the ones he said during the Will Hobbs, when Will Hobbs was wrestling, he had made these comments that were really like about Chicago PD, and I watched Chicago PD, so I was like, where the hell is this coming from? Did TNT, are they showing Chicago PD now? And he had to,
I think so.
had to promote it somehow. I don't know, but I thought that was so weird because it was really random, and sometimes I'm like, wow, it's like he cares sometimes, and then there's other times he just doesn't give a fuck. And
I think it's typically the show that leads into AEW. I believe so.
So is that like a byproduct then? Like, is that why Excalibur is over the top? Because he has to make sure that the points are all getting hit because, just maybe because JR and Tony are off the, whatever it might be, they might be unfocused. So Excalibur has to super focus on making sure that I say everything that the audience has to know and on hitting all the chords here because JR and Tony can't, they can't bring it in. They're more the color,
Yeah, but when you look
he did during the Battle Royal too, because he goes, well, I think one of the big stories here that we need to pay attention to is that Sammy Guevara was taken up by MJF during that Battle Royal. You saw that. MJF tried to say it was an accident, but I think I could add some turmoil to Inner Circles. We watched that play out. Shut the fuck up. I saw it.
Okay, now if you watch internet wrestling, so if you watched AEW Dark, it's a whole different ballgame when he does it with Taz, because he's not that mansplaining dude. It's totally different. It's like night and day, because I think Taz actually has constructive color commentary, and so you get the guy that's getting very technical in it's this kind of move or whatever, and I think that's where Excalibur doesn't
and
have
JR
that.
slinging barbecue sauce and checking out.
Yeah, and Shivani's just happy to be there on the end, So it's kind of like he has to, this is my focus. This is what I need to do. I need to wrangle these guys in. So, but now they have Ricky now on, and then this other guy, Anthony, that boxer guy. I don't know what his last name is.
Oh yeah.
And who's actually pretty cool. but you don't see that. It's a different chemistry. So it's very interesting that he has to be babysitter on Dynamite. And at
Splinter
Dark,
Fox
he doesn't have
says
to
that
do
he
that.
thinks that Graves is the worst. I think Graves just tells stupid jokes, but he doesn't
Graves
bother
is
me
stupid.
overall. He
Corey's
says stupid
dumb.
things, but
Used
whatever.
to.
Yeah.
We turned around.
Yeah, I like the guy, but yeah, I do think he makes stupid jokes and says things sometimes where it's like, okay, Corey. But I actually think that Excalibur actively will talk down to the audience. He also says AEW color team should be Taz, Jericho, and Renee Young. I think Renee Young is better than that, but she can do whatever she wants. Also, I can't stand Jericho on commentary. I've actually had to watch AEW without the sound a couple times when Jericho's on just because he is so bad, and he's just a character of himself, and he's a fucking parody of wrestling. I just can't handle it, man.
Yeah. I really wish
Grim,
that they'd have.
you disagree.
I was just saying, wow, like strong takes from Marsh.
So that
It's true, though.
sponsor, not sponsored.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Like, Jericho's so obnoxious. It's like, I have to mute him because it's like, just shut up, dude. Like, why
I just
are
said
you
all these things I
yelling?
like about AEW, and you said I don't like anything about AEW. I don't like Jericho. He's not all of AEW. You just have that shirt that says
No.
Jericho is AEW. Now you're confused.
You know,
You don't like my
I'm not.
favorites. You must hate this company.
You hate them all.
You hate them all. Yep. I'm surprised they don't have Cabana do the commentary because I always thought he was great on ROH, but I know that it became a point where they weren't using him to wrestle at ROH. It was all commentary. But he's not wrestling anyways now, so let him do it. I mean, I think that he could probably rope Excalibur away from the mansplaining that you hate.
Yes.
You know, because there's
I
a
think
little
it's
bit more
possible.
control, you know?
I just think
But-
that it's crazy to me how he talks on there. And here's the part that gets me the most irked about it is the amount of fans who say, I like the AEW wrestling commentary because they don't insult your intelligence like every other company. What are you talking about? The dude talks to you like you're a goddamn child and you can't see what's happening after it happens. And he goes, oh, did you see that? Okay, yeah. There's a difference between calling play-by-play and recapping out of like and sound. The fact he said he had to ask Taz. I interviewed Taz before the thing and I asked him about the whole fucking segment and then broke it down again. Okay. You could have just said, if you recall last week, Taz said this and it would have been just fine. But you had to ask, were you that stupid when you watched it yourself? Because I picked up on the subtleties of him saying you made it personal. It seemed real subtle, made me assume it might be personal. But I'm glad you asked, Excalibur. You fuck.
Yeah, so the choke
personal.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, speaking of personal, how personal do we think that this Moxley Omega feud's gonna go from the main event? Like, I just kind of, for me, like I don't know. So Omega wins the tournament, gets the number one contendership, and then Moxley, you know, they have the match. I don't know. Is this a best of three? Was this a one-off and a rematch, and then Omega just takes it and goes from there? Just looking at the future. I mean, the match itself was good. You know, it was good for both of them. You know, it was a solid match. But just now the aftermath. I mean, I know we could talk about the Impact Wrestling part as a separate thing for a moment, but just where do we see the feud going from here? I mean, again, is it like a transition to Omega and we just move on? Or is this like a war for 2021, Moxley and Omega?
Well, first off, pick up your Pointless Aggression t-shirts at WrestlingOnTheRocks.com, ProWrestlingTees.com/WrestlingOnTheRocks. Pick up your Pointless Aggression t-shirts because that's what we're all about, pointless aggression. That's why I yell. This is the second match, right? So we need a rubber match. We had Moxley win the first one. We had Omega win this one. We need a third match. So I think you definitely build towards another one. I don't think Moxley's going to just take this lying down, as it were. And clearly Omega cheated to win. So, yeah, now there's all that, well,
He's
if he cheated to win, is he really the winner? You know what I mean?
No.
So I think we definitely keep going with it.
Yeah. You know, or they can go the Eddie Kingston route of you just leave it alone. And that's it. But now, because of what happened, I understand why Eddie didn't get the title. Okay, it makes sense now. So, yeah, but don't treat Eddie Kingston like a sucker now because there's all this other stuff. But I do think we'll see Moxley and Omega. We'll see a rematch probably at what's the next one? Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Unless
I could see that.
Unless they do another one of these things like, I don't know, Valentine's is here, or I don't know, or something. I don't know, something stupid like like New Year something. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I think that they're probably going to do that. And I think that
they can do one called Baby New Year, and then the whole premise is Sting and Cody fighting for the custody of Baby Darby.
There you go. Okay, and if that gets booked, oh my God, you heard it here first.
Yeah, you did.
I'll sign that. I'll sign that. Yeah.
I think you definitely keep building with it, but I also think that I think the twist up on it, Grim, is that you do have Impact in it, so you can't isolate the two of them now. Now we clearly have Don Callis and Kenny Omega in cahoots for the most overbooked screw job that's ever happened because AEW is a parody. But parodies aside, they now have said that we're hooked into Impact Wrestling. So now you have the world champion going to Impact. You're going to have to explore that story further. I don't think you can do that without derailing the Mox and Omega thing. So Mox has got to lay out or do something else, or something's got to get in his way, because Omega's going to need to do something with this Impact storyline. He's going to have to defend the title. He's going to have to fight their champion, stuff like that. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense why you would even go over there, right?
Question. Does Mox still have the New Japan, one of the belts from New Japan?
Mox has the U.S. He still has the U.S.
Okay,
and Omega still has that AAA title.
Oh, okay. So I'm thinking that, okay, Mox, I know Tony Khan already said that Mox is not going to Wrestle Kingdom.
It's
so
a lie.
Maybe
he's going.
Yeah, come on, hello. I mean, Kenta already just called him out. That's going to be a good match, by the way. I didn't realize he had the belt. I wasn't sure. But I think that, like, right now, like, it's such a weird, I don't know, it's really weird. Like, I don't know, maybe, like, they'll revisit Mox later, because I don't know what the whole scenario is with Wrestle Kingdom. I do know that a lot of the wrestlers who are going to Wrestle Kingdom from the States are leaving soon to go over because of quarantine. They have to be quarantined for X amount of days and whatnot. So, because I found out that I was watching something Carl Fredericks was doing, and I was like, oh shit. And everyone's like, why is Carl going away? He's going to fucking Wrestle Kingdom, okay? Come on. Yeah. Guy deserves it. Leave him alone. Like, that's what I'm thinking. So we're not going to see Moxley for a while, but he's going to come back and he'll be pissed. I think that this next couple of weeks, you're not going to see, like, whatever they're going to do with Impact, if it's a one-off or if it's going to be more. Who knows?
I think it's going to be more, but I do think that. Oh, what was that?
I was going to say, Josh Matthews is going to just start yelling, John Moxley is in the Impact Zone. Ah!
Oh,
so
God.
Moxley shows up on Impact.
Talk about commentators that are, Josh, I can't deal with Josh Matthews. I'm sorry. Can't deal with him. Who else is on there? I don't know. I really don't watch them, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think that you have to derail the Mox and Omega. I don't even think you bring it in the next pay-per-view. I think it's going to be the one after. I think it's going to be like the All In or whatever. I think they'll do it at one of those where it's like, the rematch, and that Kenny will hold the title all the way till then.
I don't know. I don't know the order. I don't know
the order. I'm just saying the
what are the big ones. And I think it'll probably be, they're going to hold it off, and it's going to be something where they're going to be people at. That's my other projection too, because I think that they need that cash cow just to have it.
I agree. A couple things of note during the match. Commentary did say that Kenny had unusually large hands for a man that height. That was an interesting way. JR got pissed off that the ref goes outside of the ring, because he goes, why is the ref leaving the ring? And then Excalibur says, because he's got to try to maintain order. And he goes, well, you do it from inside the ring by counting. JR just lost his shit, and he goes, that piece of shit ref. And I was like, you fucking goddamn right. Because here's the deal. Here's the thing that got me the most heated during this.
Uh-oh.
They were outside of the ring, Moxley and Omega, for over 6 minutes, uninterrupted, using weapons. And then when they got back into the ring, the ref was on a 2. 2! It took them 6 minutes to get to 2.
Leave Paul Turner alone!
I would not have lost my shit if he just didn't count at all and said, okay, guys, back in the ring. I would not lose my shit if the company just outright said, we do not do countouts during championship matches. We will not have a countout victory during a championship match. Make that a rule. I'm fine with that. But when you have the ref actively counting as they get back in the ring after being outside of the ring for 6 minutes, and he's got to get to a 2 count because he knows a 10 counts a DQ, the ref looks like a goddamn idiot. 2! They roll in. Oh, thank God you guys made it in time.
Yeah, 6 minutes later.
Yeah, they didn't even like make it to a 9 and say, "Oh, that was close." They went, "No, they were nowhere near him even starting." The guy literally started counting when Moxley rolled in. That piece of shit.
The sit down chair spot. You punch me in the face, and I'll punch you in the face. That was
when it literally became a slap fight.
Yeah, that was like Three Stooges comedy. I was waiting for something to happen.
It was a little weird.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it, but it was
weird.
definitely a little weird. I was like, all right, I don't see what we're doing here. Slap me, they'll slap you. What I think it was is I think it was 45 degrees outside. I think they had 45 minutes to kill, and they just didn't know how to do that. It was just filling time.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Mox can go that kind of distance.
No,
because people
Clearly he
online
couldn't.
already, Twitter was like, "Oh my God, it's going to be like Omega Okada." I go, no, there's John Moxley is nowhere near being like Okada. So sorry, That's no.
Yeah, he couldn't do it. Absolutely. And it was very clear in this. It was very clear. The beginning of the match was super, super slow. They go to the outside of the ring, stay out there for 6 minutes, and do a lot of nothing.
Yeah.
And then it's
And then
probably
he
20
looked
minutes before
blown
the
up.
match even gets started.
Yeah, he looked blown up. So I don't know. I didn't buy it. And then also the other comment that kept coming on commentary was, "Oh my God, the heaters are heating all the fans up." I go, "No, the heaters are heating the wrestlers that are in front of the ring, not the fans.
That's
They're not putting fucking heaters up there for those guys. They're like, you can suffer up here in the bitter cold." Yeah.
Let's see.
No.
We talked about it earlier that Omega winning was actually, I think, really expected by a lot of people. But so Omega wins by using the foam part of the microphone on a live fucking mic, and the ref still didn't hear it. Poof, over the whole speaker. He turns around. "What's going on?"
Yeah, Paul Turner.
If I was actually working for a company like that and they said, "Hey, you got the Mox match," I'd go, "Oh, fuck." There's no way to look good in a Mox match if you're a referee, because he doesn't give a shit about anyone but himself, which might be good to be a wrestler, but if you're a ref, you're like, well, fuck. And in WWE, he couldn't do it because WWE tells the refs, count them out. If they won't come back, count them out. They will not sacrifice their rules for the wrestlers. And in Tony's world, they will not sacrifice the wrestlers for rules. The wrestlers can do what they want in the ring. End of story. Everything has to work around that. And I think that's what can be problematic when, your dream job is just getting shat upon. I didn't think the match in and of itself was a bad match, though, but I don't think it was going to be one of the ones people talk about forever.
No.
It was to get us somewhere. It was to get us to the next chapter, the Impact chapter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool. Don Callis and Omega run away. And they say, if you want to know what happened, you're going to have to watch Impact. And JR and Tony Schiavone just kept saying over and over, this is a screw job. This is an actual screw job. This is a screw job. We've been screwed. This was a screw job here.
Yeah.
It's like, relax. We get it, sort of. It's a parody of the screw job. I like someone brought it up. Graham, you probably saw it in the Sam chat where they said this is actually the opposite of the screw job, where Tony booked someone to take his title somewhere else, as opposed to Vince trying to protect his title from going somewhere else. I was like, yeah, it's actually true. It's the reverse.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And now everyone's scrambling. Oh my God, I don't get access. No one really does.
No one gets access.
Yeah.
It's not, that's
Well,
the one
we'll
thing I
have
don't get.
Excalibur. We'll explain everything to us anyway, so we'll be all right.
We'll be good. We got it.
We
We
don't
got
have
Excalibur.
to
Don't
watch.
worry,
We don't
guys.
have
He'll
to
watch it.
Yeah. So,
He'll watch
okay.
it, then he'll ask a follow-up question.
So now I'm confused. So what happens to my Tuesday night, my AEW Dark now? Because I have to watch Impact, whatever
Tuesday
the
Night
frick
Wars.
that is.
Tuesday Night Wars.
Yeah, but you're warring against yourself. That's so stupid. I'm like, what's going on here? Or are they all gonna invade? Everyone's gonna go and invade Impact.
What time is each show on?
I know Dark premieres. It's always pre-taped, and it premieres at 4 p.m. Pacific, so that's 7 p.m.
7
Eastern.
And then Impact, though, they go on.
I have no idea.
Well, what I mean is, like, just like looking at it, at 8 p.m. So it's an hour later, so you could technically watch both shows in the same night.
No, because Dark's been like almost 2.5, 3 hours long the last couple of weeks.
Oh, it's not like an hour show. Okay, all right.
No, they've been. Oh
No.
my God, it's like, can you please shorten this? Because
Ah.
I'm like, I don't need to see like 10 women's matches, like 4 tag matches that make no difference of whatever, things like that. So I mean, that's your Dark right now. But that's where I'm curious. It's like, okay, are some of these guys and gals, some of your more, I don't know, like your better talent, gonna go head over there to figure out what the hell is going on? I don't know. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
And it would be very interesting if they off the bat started doing AEW and Impact matches, and then obviously on the next.
Here's my
AEW
concern about that.
season.
I think it would be really good to do AEW versus Impact matches. I think AEW going to Impact to have their matches makes Impact look like a bigger deal, and AEW is trying to be seen by Impact fans. Where I think if AEW wants to come out across as the number 2 wrestling company in the world, and the power is shifted or whatever, then Impact invades AEW. AEW taking their title to Impact to display and then have an angle on Impact really makes Impact look better and bigger than AEW.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
Like, you just
also-
booked your title to go somewhere else. And everyone said this about the NWA title. This is why I say it. The NWA women's title. And I was like, well, that's really weird the NWA would give up their title to AEW. And like, well, now their title's on network TV. I was like, yeah, on someone else's program to control as they want to. So it makes NWA look secondary to AEW, saying, yes, now we can show our title on your program and people will know who we are. AEW taking the world title to Impact is a commercial for Impact. It's not a commercial for AEW. What are you doing?
Unless you started off and then all of a sudden these Impact guys, because I think Impact films in Orlando, right? I don't know. This shows you how much I watch this crap. I think they do, or somewhere in Florida. I thought, or I could be wrong, and it's not in Florida, but I know it's on the East Coast somewhere. But you could technically have for Wednesday for Dynamite, you could have the Impact people coming on AEW as well. So is this your second show now? Even though like Tony was alluding, oh yeah, it's going to be more developmental. Well, I wouldn't call Impact developmental, but I mean, it makes sense that you could, and if you're still keeping Dark, I mean, it makes sense. Because now
I think so too.
Impact,
I just think that
more accessible.
because we've talked about it before. When Don Callis first showed up, you're like, oh, obviously there's a partnership between Impact and AEW. So how are they going to do this? And we were all saying, well, the smart move is to have Impact invade AEW and become an issue for AEW to thwart off, and then you start leaking people over to AEW or to Impact from there. But for us to just like, oh, there goes our world title to Impact. All right, well, like if you want to know more about our world title championship and that storyline, go watch Impact, because we're not going to talk about it here. What? You're the national show. They're Twitch.
Yeah.
Fucking bring Impact over. Have the world champion of Impact saying, like, you might not know who I am, but I know I'm better than you.
Who's
Like,
the world
boom.
champion of Impact?
I think it's Chris Bay, isn't it?
I only know who the women's champion is.
Yeah. But either way, have her come over. I don't... Sheeta, where you even been? You know? Like, that's what I think, is I think it's really weird that they're taking their world title to Impact. Like, this is a huge, good move, and everyone's like, I don't know. Maybe. We'll see how it plays out. But to be honest, I think Impact looks like the place to be if you book it this way.
Oh, the Impact champion is Rich Swann.
Oh, that's right. It's Swan. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh. What title does Chris Bay have?
Can you handle it? I'm sorry.
No, I think Eric Young lost it to Rich Swann.
Did he? Oh, okay. I don't know.
Which, Rich Swann's a crazy one for me, too. Because there was no bones about it. This wasn't a hashtag thing. He was fucking arrested and convicted of domestic abuse. And everyone just went, eh. Like,
no, a lot of people had a problem with it, but, you know.
But they're over it.
Yeah, I mean, and there was a brief second in time where they were the king and queen of Impact just recently.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's true.
Just weird. Just weird to me. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he should or shouldn't or any of that stuff.
No.
It's just one more
but
hypocrisy
also,
and all that stuff. It's a little weird.
Also, another hypocrisy is look who's on their roster, TJP.
Yeah.
Yeah, that a known pedophile, people. Known. And I think he admits it too. So, but whatever. But we're not going into that. But yeah, no. Yeah. But
to answer your question though, so Impact tapes in Nashville.
Oh, okay.
So they're at the hometown probably for them, and then it is for them, and then you have their taping in Jacksonville, right? For
so
AEW.
a couple hour flight.
So just couple hour flight. No.
Yeah, no big deal. Yeah, I could see that happening. But it does also bring a lot of questions of. I know a lot of people are, armchair booking. I know I've put a couple of thoughts out.
Yeah, but I'm right a lot of the time.
Yeah. You? Yeah, like what were you? What were some of yours?
My armchair booking? I booked Sting.
What?
That was the biggest return of the year, they said.
Oh, I know you booked that. I know you did. No, I'm talking about like this Impact thing.
I have no idea where they're going with it, and I know that the only thing people are talking about, and I know that AEW is not thrilled about it, is everyone's going, like, oh, please merge these women's divisions. And AEW's, I know there's no way they're like, this is exciting. We'll be able to use a third, because they already used NWA's women's division. They haven't done shit with their own. Now they got Impact, who arguably I've heard has one of the best women's divisions outside of NXT.
It is.
Now everyone sees that Omega. Here's the funny thing. Omega's got to be sitting there like, what the fuck did I do? Because Omega wins the title off of a long-term champion, his first loss of Mox.
Yeah.
Takes the title to Impact, and everyone goes, oh my God, Sting. Oh my God, Impact women's division.
Well,
Omega's got to be like, dude, what the fuck? I did that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Kenny, if it's true, and Kenny books the women's division, then oh my God. That's the only reason why I think people are head over heels into it. But if I don't see Su Yung versus Sheeta, right there,
pissed?
I'm sorry, I'm pissed because that's a banger right there. Everyone wants to see Su Yung and what's her face, the dinosaur lady. She should be a dinosaur. She should team up with Luchasaurus. What's her face? The scary one. AEW. Yeah.
Abaddon.
No. Abaddon. No,
yeah.
That's boring. Only because you see two crazy bitches with makeup. No. That does not make a good match. A good match is someone who can wrestle. Because I would love it. I'd love her to bring Susie out and go like all wild on someone, like, I don't know, on somebody. That would be really cool too. So I think, I think it's a good thing. But there's a lot of men's matches that would be amazing.
I mean, a lot of people talking about the Good Brothers and Young Bucks. I'm not upset by that.
I'm not upset by that either. Nope. But I'm also.
But at the end of the day,
love to.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is there anything that you think could be potentially exciting about AEW and Impact being together, Grim?
Again, just like we talked about earlier, just the exposure on both networks, talent exchange, maybe. You know, just the exposure, the partnering of two companies and getting some more quote unquote household names. You know, because again, I haven't watched Impact in a very long time. I've gone to their live tapings in the area back when they had tapings, but but overall, though, I mean, just to kind of get the names out there and just get that cross promotion going, I think that's going to be the overall benefit for both of them.
I think it's very exciting. I think it could be very cool. I have my concerns about presentation, but I think there's a lot of possibilities here. I think right now, with as much hype as everyone says AEW has, I think they have more potential right now than they've had in a long time. And they've got a lot of eyes on them all of a sudden. And I think it's really up to them to not drop the ball on this. But the thing is, I just haven't seen enough of them really carrying the ball to begin with that makes me go, oh, this is going to be a great ride. There's a whole lot of like, okay, let's see how this goes. You know what I mean?
It's like spaghetti and taking it and throwing it against the wall to see what sticks, what doesn't stick. So it'll be very interesting. Very interesting to see, especially if they want to get tag team heavy, because they've got some good ones over in Impact.
Yeah,
you know,
I've heard
like,
good things about their tag division for sure.
Yeah, I'd kill to see the North versus the Bucks. You know, I mean,
absolutely.
That's something that hasn't been done. Yeah, we could get it. I mean, we could, we can get a lot of things, but I really think that at the end of the day is if it makes sense, or if this is just a complete, you know what, Tony's throwing money around, let's just buy them or whatever. It's a crapshoot.
Yeah, we'll see. We just don't know, to be honest. So I think for me, I'm more interested in to see what happens with it, but I'm excited to see what's going on with it. I'm really excited to see Sting doing something because, he's going to be happy to get out of the house at least, right? Guys, I think we ran a little long tonight for whatever reason. We had a lot to say about a lot of stuff, and I think it's a good place to start. Is there anything that happened in this week's Wednesdays that you guys wanted to make sure we talked about we didn't even get near?
We circled the bases on this.
Yeah,
one.
I think we beat this
covered.
one down.
Yeah, everything was covered. Yeah, it'll be an interesting Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm really excited to see where we go with it. I'm really excited about the next 2 weeks of AEW because if we have Sting back full time, I want to see what he says first thing. But that's not going to be what he starts doing. The third week will be that. So that's what I really want to see is what's the first thing he's going to say, and then on the third week, where's his trajectory? Where is he going, and what are we doing with him?
He's gonna adopt Darby. He's gonna adopt Darby.
He has to adopt Darby.
He has to. He has to. And if he doesn't adopt Darby, then that's just very sad.
Yeah, it'll be a weird custody battle. So
yeah,
guys, I think that's last call. Thanks for coming through and having a drink with us. Thank you guys for staying up late. We're having an all-nighter here at Wrestling on the Rocks episode 1. Amanda, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me at Ms. Amanda Jane, Jayne, at either Twitter or Instagram.
Awesome. I'm at Ref Marsh on Twitter, at MarshRef on Instagram. You can find the show at WOTR The Show on Twitter and at Wrestling on the Rocks on Instagram. You can find all of that stuff, though, at WrestlingOnTheRocks.com. It has all of our links to the shop, to the shirts. It's got some of my art up there. I got to update that, too. I got a lot more art up there than needs to get up there. Grim, we love having you on. You said don't plug anything. Do you want to plug your favorite television show outside of wrestling? What are you watching on Netflix?
Favorite television show?
Yeah.
Well, just got done watching The Queen's Gambit.
There it is.
Very good.
The Queen's Gambit. Is that on Netflix?
On Netflix.
On Netflix. Check it out. As endorsed by Grim Reaper himself. Sponsored, not sponsored. Guys, thank you so much for coming through and having a drink with us. Thank you guys, both you and Amanda and Grim, for coming through and just fucking yelling about wrestling with me, guys. I love it. That's last call, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.